When Adelaide faltered against Melbourne, I thought the umpires didn't help them. Hate to say this, but I thought the umpires didn't help them in the final term in that game. So the weather will be coming in. The breeze going across the ground directly. It's coming from the north. Expect some pretty heavy rain later, so early goals could be essential for both clubs. It's all about work rate because the breeze won't help them, either of them, although it could back around on the rain. Good crowd, as always, for the West Coast Eagles at home. Football in WA has picked up considerably with the home ground success of the Eagles and the Dockers. So away we go. Opening bounce. Cox will go against Clark, and a good bounce too. But the ruckman missed it. It bounces back to Clark, who tries to come away with it. Good one. Goes with the right boot down towards half forward. Jakovic steps around his man Perry and takes the mark on his chest. Jakovic in fine form this season, goes out wide to Cox. Fletcher is on down the ground on the wing. He measures the kick nicely. Fletcher wants to go and does. Looks back towards the middle. Checks. Not a good kick. Bounces to Gardner. The big man in trouble. Got a hand pass away. Close to the boundary line. Deflected across to Bickley. Bickley drives his side down towards half forward, and Perry on the lead.
So Perry has it 75 metres out from goal for Adelaide. Wants to move it quickly. It's a wide open forward line. Goes searching inside the 50. Cox went back with the flight of it. Dropped the mark. Under pressure now. McIntosh in there as well. Matera works hard. Dives out of the contest. McIntosh dispossessed. Burton there twists and turns. Trying to keep it alive. Bode. Ridden into the ground. It's picked up by Kerr. And West Coast through Peter Matera work it out. Matera gets it back. Sweeping handball to Cousins. His 24th birthday this afternoon. He goes short and finds Jones. Dropped what he should have taken. Bickley works hard at ground level. Jones gets it back. Redeems himself. Well played. Cousins arches the back to Kerr. Releases Jones. He'll release Cousins. Cousins will run the 55 metres out. Spears the pass inside looking for Weirpunda. It was misdirected. Stenglein read it off the boot and takes the mark in the back pocket. So Tyson Stenglein has developed into a key tagger for the Adelaide side over the last couple of seasons. He goes short to Bickley. Bickley hands off to Bode, and the Crows attack round the outer side.
John Cox got it now. Left half back, goes up towards the wing. Well-weighted kick. Bassett a long way up the ground, kicks inside the 50. Working in front glass. He did very well. Knocked it down to Banfield. Bounced off one player down there, Biglands. Close to the boundary line. Burton kept it going initially. In goes Perry, and it goes out of bounds off hands. So boundary throw in. Last time they met, Adelaide by 13 points. Last time in Perth, though, the Eagles won by 114 points. Scotty Cummings booted 14 goals. Just thought I'd mention that. Clark in front. Cox fell over. And it's going to be a free kick, I think, to Cox. Plays on immediately. Releases Fletcher. Fletcher goes very wide. A bit each way, and it bounces out of bounds right half forward for the Crows.
Not a bad result, that, Dennis, because he was kicking to a one-on-one, Peter Matera, with his opponent. I think it's Doughty. So just get it out of bounds and have a contest from here. Looks like Wooden has got McLeod.
Tossed in again. The ruckman lock up. Hunter quick hands away to Cousins. Breaks away at half back. Goes across the ground, demanding quite a bit of Jones. He gathers the bouncing ball, kicks it down towards half forward. Who's got the speed? Hart will be first across. Generally does something constructive. Tackled by Williams. Back to Bassett. Away to Bode.
So Bode around the outer side at Subiaco Oval. Tucks it under his arm. Goes for a bounce. Spears it inside the 50. Clark stands tall. Takes a very clever mark. Dean Cox was right there. Clark took it out in front of his face.
Well, he was one-on-one inside 50 with him, wasn't he, Jason? Just didn't get any purchase on the footy. I think it's a good move, actually, Clark, with the two ruckmen running with one another. I thought last week Adelaide erred, allowing Jeff White to run into open space and receive a lot of easy balls. So one-on-one around the ground for the ruckman, I think it's a good decision from Gary Ayres.
Doesn't kick a lot of goals, only 3 this season. Kick on its way. Body language said it all. He didn't like it right off the boot, and he's missed to the right-hand side. Opening score goes to Adelaide. A minor one to Matthew Clark. So McIntosh with the kick in. Adelaide, a pretty widespread zone, as you can see there on screen. Defending heavily against the member side here. All the West Coast players have gone to the outer side, so McIntosh obliges. Kicks long outside the 50. Ground level Wooden. They read it beautifully off the pack. It was almost a set play from West Coast. Wooden goes forward looking for Weir. Punda almost took a very clever one-hander. Over and out for a throw-in.
There was a set play there, Jace. They just got numbers under the contest at about the 50-metre mark. That's an interesting matchup, Wirrapunda and Stengline. You think Wirrapunda on the burst would have a bit too much toe, so it's a big job there for the former Subiaco player, Stengline.
Made his debut on this ground against the Eagles in 1999. Jones flew over the top there, knocked it down, taken away by Hart, kicks it up towards the wing. Laddams wants to go and does. Comes around on that left boot, clever boot, pulls it back. McLeod. Hart pushing up towards Harford. Doughty. Now he can run inside the 50. Doughty lines up, kicks, and misses. Well, he should have done far better with that. Virtually a gimme.
And it all came from that set play, just a clearance. It looks like, I mean, you can see already why Adelaide are the #1 team in the competition in terms of clearances. They've got one out of the centre, and that was generated from that stationary contest on their half-back flank. So good set play from Adelaide.
Saw the wide shot, almost the identical setup from West Coast. Therefore, McIntosh goes with the identical kick to the outer side. Adelaide picked it off on this occasion. They learnt quickly. Clark to Bow to McLeod.
The difference there, Jace, there wasn't the numbers. McLeod goes to pass off.
Spotted a man deep inside. It was Goodwin. Edwards sharked it off the pack, touched off his boot. Colliker dragged to ground. Working hard was Laddams. Biglands tries to crash through. McIntosh, fair purchase on him. Will have a bounce.
Strange decision, really. He was 40 metres out. Distance not a problem. Angle wasn't that difficult. McLeod, I guess he realised now we should have had a set shot. But the difference here, that point kick in from West Coast, they didn't have the numbers under the pack.
So bounce 15 metres out from Adelaide's goal. McLeod, here he is. He's super in and around the clearances. But on this occasion, he's dispossessed, and Fletcher got it to Hunter. Kick to open space. Bode will be first back there. Williams has got to go for West Coast to create a contest. Forces the ball backward. Ben Hart has time and space and finds Goodwin. Third touch for Simon Goodwin. Goes inside 50. Big pack of players around this one. A big fly from Biglands. Brought it to ground. Banfield to tidy up. He gets it to Peter Matera. And the Eagles look to attack around the members' wing.
High ball towards the wing. Wirrapunda with a judgment, just sliding in behind two players ahead who flew. Pulls it back towards the middle. Awkward half volley for Gardner. Across it comes to Cousins. No support. McGregor got him down. Ball spills to Stengline. Off his step. Kicks inside the 50. Jakovic goes back. Gathers the footy. Wheels around. Now he's got a problem. Coughed it up. Burton 35 metres out. Measures the kick. Wonderful kick.
Just generated.
Holden Rodeo. For all your dirty work.
He couldn't believe he got straight through to me. He thought he'd get a computer.
If you'd rather speak to a real person, call Amy on 13 22 44.
Opening goal, Adelaide. Eventually got it. 7 inside 50s to 1. They lead by 8 points. The other key stat early in this game. Turnovers 5-0 against West Coast. They're under pressure down back. They just don't have the margin for error at the moment. Cousins read it from the ruck contest. Got it down to Haynes. Hunter it was, rather. Chance now for Adelaide from Stengline. Kick missed its target. It was looking for a shooter. Here's Cousins to Fletcher. Onto his left boot. Goes looking for and finds Wirrapunda right on 50. He chips it inside. Cousins ran on for him. Good work from the skipper as Rowan Jones comes to the bench to be replaced by Callum Chambers.
And that hurts, doesn't it? Stengline receives the ball going directly at his goals. He coughs it up in the midfield. The ball comes back into the West Coast Eagles forward line, and guess who gets it? Stengline's opponent, Wirrapunda.
So Ben Cousins been prominent early. 7th possession coming up. Chance to kick his 13th goal for the season. 12-6 to this stage. From right on 50 off about 3 steps. Kick on its way. Pops it over the goal umpire's head. West Coast have their first.
I'm a chartered accountant in an accounting and administration role. I actually joined the Army Reserves, and that was my way of doing something physical. It was just something that seemed to offer some potential change in lifestyle. There are many highlights. The one that comes to mind the most is when I went to Hawaii, flying over the Hawaiian coastline in Black Hawk helicopters. I'll live with those memories forever.
Back in the middle, Chris Judd getting his chance. 2 points the difference. In from the side, Goodwin knocked it down into the path of Rashudo hurriedly down towards half forward. Perry comes up in front of Jankovic. Jankovic got a hand in there, knocked it away. Soccer's off the ground up towards the wing. Into open space. Eagles lead in all directions. Fletcher picked it up, did pretty well. Hunter, quick hands away. Now a chance for Chambers around the outer side. Kicks inside the 50. Committing to the pack was Embley. Down in front, McGregor. Embley goes again. McGregor's over the football. Wirapunda's over him. Well, he looked like he was freestyling down there, McGregor. Not a bad kick. We'll have a ball up. About 40 metres out. Cousins with that last goal, and despite a Crows victory, he picked up 36 possessions and 3 Brownlow votes, round 14 last season. Not bad in a losing team. Bode's over the football. Again, plenty of company. And the bounce right on the 50.
Gee, poor play from Adelaide at the minute. They got Chad Fletcher just sitting back by himself in the forward 50. Looks like Bassett's coming across, but it's not hard one-on-one.
Embley, clean possession, taken down. Bode goes after it, did well, put the body in, slips the handball away. Going to ground, Massey keeps it going Adelaide's way though. Bickley, Bode, 360, got the hand pass away, under pressure. The ball is kicked towards the outer side from Hart, off hands. Adelaide with plenty of runners. Laddams away, down towards left half forward. Penetrating kick inside the 50. Missed down there by Burton, found it on the ground. He's kicked one, wheels around on the left side, sets it up towards full forward. McIntosh.
So McIntosh wants to go long. Spots a man in space, it's Fletcher. Wanted to release a handball to Matera. Good work from Dowdy on the mark. Now he gets the handball away. Matera can go for a run, he's got a panic. It's had 2 bounces. Make that 3. Across centre wing. Kick wasn't great, but it found its target. It was horrible off the boot, but it was straight. It went straight to Callum Chambers. 60 metres out. The lead comes from Embley. He honours it. Put it in his bootstraps. Bassett to John Cock. And Adelaide can go around the outer side of the ground through Tyson Edwards. He goes looking for Rashuto. He's got a couple out there to beat. One of them's Fletcher. Rashuto kept his eye on it, kept it in front of him. A man in space is Doughty. He spotted him. Hits him on the chest from 45 metres out. He runs in and misses again. Was infringed with after he kicked it by Peter Matera. Will get another kick. A kick went to the left and missed.
He was always going to miss too, wasn't it?
Yep.
That was a critical ball from Rashudo on that outer wing. It was 2-on-1 against.
And here comes the goal umpire. Let's see him run backwards for 35. Here he goes. No. It was a bridge too far.
But a critical ball to be won on that outer wing by Mark Rashudo. It was 2-on-1 against him, and he just got a hand in there and allowed the ball to run forward towards him. I mean, the ball's left Doughty's boot, and Peter Matera's come in. He should have realised the ball was missing left.
So Michael Doughty, 9 goals 2 for the season. Has a set shot, makes him pay. He's popped it through, and Adelaide have 2 goals.
Just break away. Ain't it great to be free? Great to be free. That creamy filled wafer, it's great, it's the best. Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate, so fine I suggest you break away from the everyday me.
Anything else? So Adelaide 2-2, West Coast to goal. Let's hit boundary side. Here's Mark Reddings.
And Peter Matera coming off the ground, as you see. Whether it was for that infringement, we may never know, but he's certainly on the bench having a rest.
A coincidence, if not. Off hands, taken by Cousins. Throws it on the boot. High ball towards half forward. Going back, almost the mark down there to McGregor. Spilt it. Stenglein tackled immediately. Socked away by Wirapunda into space. Runs onto his own ball. 5 metres in. Pulls it back. Just missed. You could tell by the way he ran on. He liked it off the boot. He gave it a ride. And less than a metre in it. 1-1 plays 2-2. Enterprising start by the Crows. Bassett to bring it in. Virtually straight down the middle. Clark is the target, trying to help it on its way. Taken in there by Rashudo. Back to Edwards. Ricochets off a teammate, Rashudo, I think, and heads for the boundary line. Goes out. Just the defensive side of right half forward for the West Coast Eagles. It'll be tossed in. At Subi, the West Coast Eagles always have done well against the Crows, and this season, of course, against anybody. Well done by Cousins to Hunter. Kicks inside the 50. Lynch on the lead, missed it. Philip Matera behind. John Cox got in. Great tackle. Wonderful effort. And the ball straight out of bounds.
Did that well, didn't he? Lynch has actually gone to full forward. You just see John Cox, he goes straight at his hips, gets a handful of jumper. That's well done, because you get Phil Matera on the goal side of you, you know you're going to get a goal against you.
So a throw in, still in the danger zone for West Coast. Lynch soccers it away. Cousins gathers to Weir Punda from 55 metres out, turns onto his right boot, goes looking for Fletcher. Goodwin, a spectacular effort, and brought it down on the second attempt. Jumps to his feet, wants to move it quickly. He's got John Cock on the members' side. It's a defensive 40. They've broken for him. It's Bickley. Runs around Matera. Kicks towards the wing. Had too much carry for Perry. Over the back is Jakovic. Colica there tries to lay a shepherd on two of them. Laddams comes at Jakovic, and he takes it to the line.
See, the two small forwards from West Coast, Phil Matera and Wirrapunda. I reckon John Cock on Phil Matera is going to be a great duel. You'd think that he'd have the pace to go with Phil Matera, but I'm still a little bit worried about Stengline on Wirrapunda.
A useful pickup, Graham. John Cock played all 12 games in his first season of AFL football this year. He's just found a niche down back for them. Ruck infringement. Free kick goes to Dean Cox against Matthew Clark. Cox wants to move it quickly. Goes to Wooden. McIntosh breaks to the outer side. He's got 5 metres on Biglands. Away goes Ashley McIntosh. Kicks to space. Williams stands tall, takes a very good mark against quality opposition in Ben Hart. Williams inside 50. Lynch comes on the long lead. And going back with courage there is Stengline, and he takes the mark. So Tyson Stengline, 4th possession coming up for him this afternoon.
Just noticed where Wirrapunda slipped over on a lead there and seems to be limping.
Does look properly just at the 50 there for West Coast. John Cock takes the mark, 1-on-1 against Philip Matera. Searching kick, honoured by Rashudo. Has Bode running for him. Handball over the top, doesn't have to break stride. Bode towards half forward. Chance here for Perry. Got hands to it. Jakovic put enough body pressure on, and the ball goes to the line for a throw in.
Crows by 7 points. There's the time remaining till quarter time. Trainers out to Wirrapunda at the other end. He was coming in a long lead, and as he approached, the ball slipped over. And there he is, explaining what happened. Doesn't look 100%. Tossed in meantime on the attacking 50 for the Crows. Out of the congestion. Kick for Laddams. Chopped off by Banfield. Left it behind though. Jakovic went in after it. Laddams follows up. Throws it onto that left boot of his. Out of bounds on the full in the opposite pocket. McIntosh wasting no time. Awkward one for Cousins. No space. Takes on a would-be tackler, Rashudo. Gets the kick away towards the outer side, and the mark is held by Chambers. Out against the boundary line. Hugs the boundary with the kick. Rashudo goes back with courage. There's going to be a free kick, I think, to the Crows out there. And Rashudo, the front man, puts the body in, and sometimes, most times, gets a reward, although not this time. It's going to Hart.
So Hart around the outer side. Perry again presenting himself. He's coming on some good long hard leads early on, Ben, but just not being able to get his hands to the ball and hang on to it.
Yeah, look, and Jakovic hasn't really had an influence. I think he can provide some strong leads. You're committing Jakovic to those leads, but tell you one boy, Ben Cousins, his work rate's incredible. He's up to 11 disposals already.
Clark against Cox. Clark got hands down to Massey. Through the hands of Bode. Rashudo was taken high, but before then a free kick went West Coast way.
Throw.
And it is coming back to Josh Wooden.
Just like the way Adelaide have banned up, there haven't been too many easy passes for West Coast. When they've gone for it, it's been one-on-one really around the ground.
Comes Embley on the long lead. Got hands to the ball, never really a chance to mark it. McLeod throws a sidestep on. Looping handball over the top. Massey had to stand and wait for it. Did well, got it to Stengline. High kick towards half forward. It's a 2-on-2 contest down there. Colliker almost brought it down. Laddams just waited for it to spill off his hands. Puts it inside 50 to space for Burton to lead out into. Bad bounce for both of them. Burton goes again. So does Glass. 1-on-1. Wins the ball. Gets it to Judd. He loses his feet to Hunter. And the Eagles work it out through Fletcher. A man breaking to the members' side. It's Chambers. He can get it and go. He runs to 55. Has a bounce. It doesn't come back to him. Gets to 40 metres. Lines it up and pops it through. Callum Chambers gets his...
Punter is currently getting his ankle taped, so a lower leg injury for him. Whether he returns to the ground remains to be seen.
Crows by a point. Great maturity from Callum Chambers. Didn't panic. Bickley out of the middle. Kicks the Crows towards half forward. Hunter up in front. Couldn't complete the mark. Cousins again. Colliker under pressure. Rashudo couldn't lay it off. Couldn't control the footy. Judd tackled immediately. Doughty. Good vision. McLeod slipped over. Clever hands though. Rashudo kicks inside the 50. Pulled it back towards the pocket. Now some holding on in the square. And it's going to be a free kick, I think, to Burton against Glass. Well, the kick was very wide of the pair. It was about 25 metres to their left. And neither of them advanced on the ball. They were busy, preoccupied. And it seems Burton was held. They'll kick a goal from 15 metres out. So they're going goal for goal. Adelaide get their third.
It came from Andrew McLeod, a great little pressurised handball. Josh Wooden actually lost him in general play. It's a strange, funny kick in the end, wasn't it, Dennis? Because it's just, as you called it, gone to that pocket, and no one really was there. It was just into open space. It was an interesting choice from Mark Rashudo, and maybe Darren Glass just got a handful of jumper and didn't allow Burton to run at the footy. So 2 goals to Brett Burton, and the Crows just kick away again and lead back out to 7 points. Just over 6 minutes remaining in this opening term. Clark in the ruck. Solid tap out, but straight to a West Coast player. Cousins to Fletcher. And Chambers is there. He goes inboard. Opportunity for West Coast to build off the back edge of the centre square. John Cock against Matera. John Cock kept his eye on it, got the fist away. Bickley to run onto it for West Coast. Here's Kerr. Massey wraps him up. Judd goes again. John Cock in there as well. Williams takes it to the line. Scrappy minute of play or so there from both sides, but plenty of physical pressure in and around the packs, Ben. Yeah, it's been an interesting tactic as well of Worsfold to start Chambers and Judd on the bench the last 6 or 7 weeks, but he brings them on both pretty quickly. Gardner got the tap down. Wooden and McLeod wrestle. Wooden win again, did well, got it to Judd. He accelerates away from the contest, runs to 40 metres out and finishes off the job. And those
goals both started on the bench. There's Michael Gardner coming off under the blood rule. Interesting, I'm sure Worsfold a little anxious to avoid a tag on those players because they do kick goals for him. They do have speed. So he starts them on the bench, introduces them, as Ben said, pretty quickly. So they're virtual starters. Gardner back in the side today after missing 6 weeks, being patched up. And the margin back to a point. It's 20 plays 19 at Subi. Still being played in fine weather this game. Fresh breeze blowing to the outer side. Clark favoured by the bounce. McLeod cleverly done. Massey. Good player so far this season, Chris Massey. Down towards right half forward. Jakovic got rid of Perry. Tracks it back towards the boundary. It stays in. Hooks it across the body. McLeod will need to go here. In from the side, Massey. Taken by Judd to Cousins. Arches the back. Got away. Hunter can go again to Judd. Elects not to. 2 bounces in the space of 5 metres. From 65 metres out, Philip Matera a chance. John Cock with courage went back. Miranda leads in the race. It's out of bounds. Right full forward. Just under 5 minutes till quarter time. A tight one at Subi.
He's read the ball through the air a couple of times very well, John Cock. Just shown remarkable poise in his first year of footy. So Lynch will go in the ruck against McGregor. McGregor tried to work to the front. Couldn't get an effective disposal from the contest, though. Embley went to ground. Here's Lynch again. Handball out. Fletcher. Short kick. Wasn't 15. Cousins has to swing onto his right boot. He does so. He goes for goal.
Happy birthday, Ben Cousins. His second.
And the area where Adelaide have been dominant this year is in the clearances, and they're getting touched up at the minute. Another example of West Coast just winning stationary contest. There was a loose ball, but just a good little second effort from the young ruckman in Lynch, and just allowed Ben Cousins to get that in open space. The clearances at the minute are 13 to West Coast and 6 to Adelaide. So they've obviously done a fair bit of work on that during the week, West Coast.
Philip Matera off the ground. Inspirational opening turn by Ben Cousins. 15 possessions now. That is special. Rucks go at it. Falls to Kerr. Goes with the outside of the boot towards half forward. John Cock reaches over the top. Fletcher been very handy. Spears a pass inside the 50. Cousins, not one of those in any rotational policy. When he rests in the forward pocket. And I can't say I blame the coach. Rapunda walking gingerly at the moment. That's a bad sign.
Normally with an ankle, Dennis, they come good reasonably quickly if they're going to be okay. He's got a problem there. I'm not sure we'll see him again.
Tossed in. McGregor to Edwards. Goes with the spiral up towards the wing. Colliker in best position. Missed the mark. Cox left it behind. Colliker slaps it to Hunter. Did well in a tight situation. Judd tried to go back to Cox. Spills to Judd. Great recovery. Wooden inside the centre square. Looks down towards half forward. Intended for Fletcher. Wide of the mark. Bassett got a fist on it. Camped in front though. Chambers. Generally good with the football. Sends it long for Cousins. And what a mark. Cousins plays on immediately. 45 metres out. Not his best effort. Towards the opposite pocket and Lynch. What a wonderful mark by the skipper. 16 possessions, and the kick not the equal of the mark. Had he gone back, he may well have been able to kick his third. And now the man who debuted at Optus Oval a fortnight ago, a very sharp angle. His first kick in footy was a goal. Lynch jabs at it, across the face, behind.
Here's the Ben Cousins mark. He is putting in a blinder so far this afternoon. Was out of that contest the entire way and somehow came down with it. 16 possessions, 2 goals, 5 clearances. An amazing opening turn from the skipper.
Not inconceivable. He could get a Brownlow vote on the strength of this alone. Come off now.
Bassett thumps it long towards the outer side. Big pack of players at ground level. Fletcher, handball missed its target. It opens the door for John Cock. He gets it to Doughty. Breaks away from the wing. Adelaide go forward. Chance for a late goal. Perry back with the flight. It's a very, very clever mark. Had Djakovic all over him and managed to hang on. He's 55 metres out directly in front.
Don't think he's that comfortable with this distance. He could have decided to get it in there quickly. Burton was down there with his opponent. Decided not to. You know, he might be able to make it.
So here's Perry.
Popped it up.
Never looked like kicking for goal, did he? Unfortunately, his forwards didn't read his mind.
It's a set play that no one knew about.
Except him.
Fletcher wide to Gardner. Can West Coast counter-attack? Miranda back to Gardner. Here's a chance for the counter-punch. Gardner fumbles. Goes again, just puts body on body. Realised he wasn't going to pick it up and make sure no one else did either. Comes to Embley. He's 55 out, wheels around onto his left boot, round the body towards Lynch.
That is a fantastic kick. He was the only option for Embley to go to, Lynch, and he's kicked that left foot superbly. Just deft touch from Embley because he was going full pelt. It was a good take by the big guy in the end, off the ground.
And he is a big guy, 193 centimetres, a whopping 104 kilos.
He is a dead ringer from behind. I know he's got Andrew Lockyer's number, but he's very similar, isn't he, in stature?
Lynch, can he make amends for his previous miss from 40 metres out? Kicks through that one a bit more solidly. Goal umpire likes it. West Coast lead by 12 points.
And Ben Cousins has been the star. I was actually intrigued as to how they approached Ben Cousins. They were rotating Goodwin and Rashudo. Just good forward pressure there from West Coast in general. But just look at that from Embley, running full pelt across the ground and having to bring that ball back into Lynch's space. It's a great play. So Ayres going with a rotation of Goodwin and Rashudo off Ben Cousins. And Well, Cousins would have been expecting a tag, I reckon.
Makes Perry's uncertainty at the other end extremely costly. It's a 2-goal turnaround.
Absolutely.
Interesting, too, the influence of the bench players for the West Coast Eagles. 3 of them now have kicked a goal. Clark knocks it down. Gardner tried to pick it up, so to Kerr. Kerr going nowhere. The ball comes out belatedly and will have a bounce.
I'm sure you're trying to get your West Perth man, Dennis, up there, Mark Miranda, to kick a goal.
Not necessarily. We've already mentioned the Falcons. Clark tried to get it out. Gardner in the opposite direction, down towards half forward. Peter Matera's in front. Hart, what a wonderful player. Wonderful balance. Massey, though, the fumble. Williams goes in right on the 50. Hart again stifled the hand pass. Goes after it. Could have almost got a free kick. Don't penalise him, for heaven's sake.
He's very rarely beaten one-on-one, Ben Hart. There's a couple of times last week the ball went... It was basically one-on-one in open space, and he was just fantastic. Ben Hart, been a great player over 10 years.
Defenders aren't always known for their subtlety. He's a subtle defender. Down to Williams, immediately surrounded, and will have a bounce.
There's Dean Cox having a breather.
He's got Michael Gardner in the team with him, so he'll be rotated on and off the Betshore match.
30 seconds remaining in the opening term. Maybe time for one more for West Coast if they can break clear here. Here's Peter Matera. Just fumbled at the vital stage. Dowdy wrapped up in a tackle by Banfield. Rashudo tried to get the handball out. Missed its target. Partly smothered. Rashudo gets it back again to Edwards. 10 seconds left on the clock. Tyson Edwards runs to the front edge of the centre square. Goes himself. Will kick long. They need a mark. Adelaide. It's a one-on-one contest. McIntosh punches it away and saves the day, as he has so often throughout his illustrious career. Quarter time. It's West Coast by 12 points.
That's a bad option. Ashley McIntosh loves those situations, body on body. Quarter time, interesting affair at Subi.
You had some chances in front of goals. You blew those, though.
Yeah, and we did. We had a few decision-making errors too, and a couple of skill errors that cost us early on. But I thought our competitiveness is there, and that's what's going to get us back into the game.
Thanks, Mark. Just before I go, the West Coast Eagles, a couple of injury concerns. David Weir-Punda has gone back to the bench. His ankle injury doesn't look too good. And Chris Judd has got his thigh heavily strapped. We'll keep an eye on him.
Thanks, Mark. Ben Hart 7 possessions. Mark Rashudo has 7. Matthew Bode has had 6. Chris Laddams has also done well. Just taking a look at his figures. 6 possessions. Tyson Stenglein with 6. Cousins has been a thorn in the side of the Crows as we start this second term. Gardner, well, guess who's got it? Cousins. Where's Stenglein? Towards half forward goes the kick. Coming across on the angle, Hart. Fingertips to it. Knocked it wider. Williams plays it in front. Chance now for Philip Matera. Diving in there as Massey over the football. Somehow Philip Matera emerged with it. Goodwin did well. Stole it. Got it to McGregor. High kick towards the wing. Going back with the flight, Doughty. Close to the boundary line. Cousins can't keep it in. It'll be tossed in. And my word, he's the crowd favourite here at Subi, and why not?
Clearance is 16-8 in favour of West Coast. They're doing extremely well against the best in the business. We spoke about the importance of that at the start of the game. Kerr gets it out to Cousins. Another clearance coming up. Just dropped it. A vital moment. Allowed Stenglein to get it to Bickley, to Rashudo. These are the names that have to get going for Adelaide. Rashudo towards centre half forward. Perry stands underneath it. Jakovic with him as he has been all day. Opportunity for West Coast now off the back edge of the centre square through Collicker to Gardner to Hunter. Hunter spears a kick inside 50 looking for Lynch. Clears that contest. Here's a dangerous Philip Matera goes to ground. John Cock.
Push.
What? Infringed, said the umpire. Push in the back.
I thought that was holding the ball.
And the free kick will go to Philip Matera.
Looked like he ducked to me and just left the ball on the ground as John Cock dragged him off the footy. Gee, that's a tough decision. He's a great duel.
Oh, that's a terrible decision.
It wasn't in his back at any stage.
I was just going to say how good John Cock has been twice now with that sort of tackle.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's fisted the ball away, I reckon, 3 times when going back with the flight of the ball. Good young player.
He's a sharpshooter, Philip Matera. Kick on its way. And he doesn't let himself down. He's popped it through and makes them pay.
Back. One of the worst decisions of the season we've seen. Costly as far as the Crows are concerned. Stenglein kicks his side down towards half forward. Banfield.
Oh, get on him.
Veteran. Cousins. How about this? 30 metres in the clear. The champs away. One bounce. Running down towards half forward. Sets it up. Lynch is the target. Lynch is the marker. It was a wonderful kick. Only one man was ever going to mark it. The best hope the Crows had was a fist. To get around that bulk is not easy. That's a lot of Lynch. Directly in front. Going at his second of the afternoon. A buzz goes around Subi. The sort of buzz that says, hey, we've got a cult hero here. He doesn't let them down. He kicks his second.
It's just amazing that Ben Cousins can get that much space. He's just getting... I don't think that's an injury. I think it's more of a just maybe having a look at his boots.
Just run the stops off them.
Just amazing. What's he up to? 18 possessions, 6 clearances, and he needs a hard tag. He's just moved to the half-forward line, and yeah, well, young Stingline's come out to match him. He just must have lost him in open traffic here, because no one's within 20 metres of Cousins running alongside the wing there. Just amazing.
So West Coast have made their move. The margin out to 24 points. Early stages of this second term. McLeod going nowhere. Just 5 touches for Andrew McLeod early in this game.
They need a little bit of spark from McLeod, don't they? He's been well held by Wooden.
Indeed they do. There is McLeod. Gets it out to Rashudo as if on cue. Handball was looking for Bode. Just out in front of him. Put him under pressure. West Coast win the disputed ball. Chambers. Hunter. Great tackle from Rashudo. Buried him into the turf. Chambers goes again, but quick hands. Wooden. Colica. Towards half-forward. The bouncing ball eludes all. Massey will track back onto it. Judd's there as well for West Coast. Massey. Handball smothered by Matera. Here's Judd. Emerges from the congestion. Great vision. A handball to Wembley. Wheels around onto his right boot. Pulls the kick wide towards Williams. He bounces it up. Picks it up. And pulls the kick. Doesn't quite get there. Still alive. Philip Matera takes the mark. Well, it was off one step, the kick from Williams. Didn't get any real power in it. Philip Matera didn't lose hope. Kept his eyes on it and takes the mark.
Daniel Kerr has reason to be unimpressed, I'd suggest.
Matera runs around and kicks his second. So 2 goals.
Steps from Ben Cousins. The margin is out to 30 points. How about that? Gardner locked up in midair, landed hard. McLeod puts his side towards half-forward, but only as far as Colica. Resolute defender. Colica comes out wide. Chambers takes the mark. McLeod a step late. So Chambers wants to go. Does. Well, McLeod was looking at the umpire. Chambers, pretty quick, runs down towards half-forward, intended for Philip Matera. What a mark! Kerr going back with a flight of the footy has marked about 30 metres out, 45-degree angle, and they don't come any gutsier than that.
He didn't get the last one, did he? Didn't get the last one. He made sure he was going to get that one.
Maybe he knew it wasn't Lynch coming up on the lead. He knew it was Philip Matera. That's all I can say.
He knows it's not Troy Wilson too.
What a wonderful effort. Deserves a goal. Fixed it. Behind.
They're just not getting their hands on the ball though, Adelaide. Just completely dominated in the one-on-one duels around the ground. Just amazing. They just got to get some ball winners in there.
Possessions 22-10 in this second term in favour of West Coast. And they lead the game by 31 points. Clark the target from the kick-in. Didn't have enough of it, said the umpire. Kerr tries to farm it out for West Coast. Rashudo and Clark. Clark dribbles it towards Doughty. West Coast win the disputed ball. Not for long. It's going to come straight back over their head. That kick wide from Andrew Crowell. And Jakovic with a resultant free kick just backward of centre wing. So Glenn Jakovic just looks up and assesses his options. Plenty of players on this members' side. Happy to hang on to it. Decides now he's going to thump it long. High kick. Embley's there. Hunter's there as well. Off the hands of the pack. Hart takes it to the line for a throw-in. Cousins 18 possessions. Fletcher 12. Chambers 11. Hunter 10, and as you see there, Adelaide's last goal came at the 22-minute mark of the first term. We're now up to the 8-minute mark of the second. Clark, beautiful tap down straight to Bickley. Steps around Cousins, kicks towards half-forward and finds Perry. Perry to Laddams. His nearest player is about 70 metres away. Burton comes on the long lead. He'll bounce in front of him and over his head. Blast tracks back. It's a 3-on-1 contest. Biglands commits his body. Gets the handball to Burton. Did very well. Beat the odds. Can Burton finish it off? He does. Outstanding team goal. Brett Burton kicks his third.
Well, I'm a mother of two.
Yes, David Weir-Punter, as you can see, back on the ground, but that didn't come until he had a lengthy consultation with the Eagles medico. So he's convinced them he's right to go, and they've said, go ahead, David.
Gardner knocked it down. Cousins breaks away, lays it off. Banfield on the wing, goes down towards half forward. Fletcher just wide of the mark. Goodwin comes behind him, gets the hand pass to McGregor. Back to Goodwin. They'll work it out. Hart, Bode, across half back. Edwards. Nicely worked. Bickley running hard as John Cock. The hand pass not good. Bickley goes again. Oh, brilliantly read by Kerr. Nonchalantly gives it to Williams. He's running down towards half forward. Williams threads a hand pass to Philip Matera. To Lynch. He's a thumping kick. Lynch gets onto this one. Oh, at goalpost height, if you don't mind. Just off target behind.
They found another one in Quentin Lynch. He's an exciting player. Perish the thought if he and Troy Wilson get in the same forward line. I'm tipping you'd tell the difference between the footsteps between those two and Philip Matera. Kick goes wide. Bickley takes the mark just inside the line.
You'd learn to.
He certainly would. Well, he'd wake up the next day. The kick was looking for and found McGregor. They want to move it quickly. Doughty forward of the ball to Bode. Adelaide trying to generate some run through the midfield. Bode goes looking for Burton. Worked under the contest by Glass. Ball still alive. Marsh. Handball missed its target. Mopped up by McIntosh. Sweeps one over the top. Two options out there. Judd. Good shepherd there laid by Banfield. Judd, wobbly kick around the outer wing. Gardner. Little give to Wooden. He brings the ball inboard. Here's Kerr starting to get busy in this second term. Can take it and go. He's 75 metres out from goal. Here comes Philip Matera, who get it on the bounce. Expect something exciting here. Handball partly smothered by Crowell. John Cock just lured towards the contest. Chambers loses his feet. Cousins is gang tackled. Ball still alive. Jones. John Cock in there working hard. Third effort from him. Eventually he won the ball. Got up the step line and they're away to Bode. Bode on centre wing. Runs away from Banfield. Assesses his options, goes short. Perry thought about the handball, then thought better of it. So Ian Perry squares it up. Just saw Tyson Edwards in the corner of his eye. 55 metres out, Edwards runs to 50, loads it up, goes for home and hits the post. Disappointing finish. You had more time than that, Ben.
Yeah, but you just get the impression they're just starting to win a bit of ball, aren't they, Adelaide? And they're just running forward in wave from that back half, but great peripheral vision from Ian Perry. I wasn't sure whether he spotted Edwards out the corner of his eye. Just went over the top of his head, but Edwards hitting the post was unlucky.
Important 10 minutes coming up here. 8-4, 4-3. This is Hunter, who started so well. Growing in stature. There's the time remaining till half-time. Hunter, close to the boundary line. Jakovic takes the mark, does he? That was a good effort. Perry got there in time. Couldn't force it out. So Jakovic left half back. Fletcher offers a lead. Goes in that general direction. Jones. He's got good hands for a man that size. Rowan Jones plays on. Not the best kick in the world. He's a very good kick occasionally. It goes to Fletcher. Fletcher inside the 50. Hard again. That's a mark. A minimum of fuss. Ben Hart. Just a wonderful player. Very much in the Guy McKenna mould. There goes the kick from Hart. Back towards the wing. A little nudge from Gardner. Timely. Breaks away from Biglands. Tackled as he kicks. As a result, the kick forced very high. Missed by Wooden initially. Advantage is paid. Wooden's away then. Gets a hand pass to Embley. Embley fires a goal and kicks it. That's important.
All she was worried about was losing her rating.
Now in favour of the West Coast Eagles. Adelaide were just starting to build some momentum. It was an important goal, as Dennis mentioned. Banfield to Cousins. Here's Callum Chambers. Emerges from the congestion. Has a bounce in the middle of Subiaco Oval. Has another one. Bode comes towards him. He gives a handball to Judd. Heavy traffic. Chambers ran on. Keeps paddling. He's got it inside 50 now. Bode still alongside him. Ran the whole way with him. And in the end wins a free kick.
Yeah, good play, wasn't it? Great persistence by Bode.
Farms it out to Bickley. He leads the game for Adelaide with 10 possessions. Goes wide looking for Doughty. Got a hand to it. Tries to keep it in and does so momentarily. There'll be a throw-in on the outer side.
Well, they're getting numbers back, Adelaide, and at least their forward half is open when they're going towards their forward line, but there's a lot of space that they have to run. There's a lot of they're using up a lot of energy going to their forward line.
Fletcher wins the ball from the ruck contest. Little kick was looking for Jones. McLeod cut it off. Handball missed its target. McLeod takes a seat. McGregor kicks to wide open space. Opportunity for West Coast to go again through Cousins. Possession number 21. Handball to Jakovic. Jakovic goes wide to Wooden, too wide, and they'll turn the ball over. Free kick to Matthew Bode. McLeod's back up and going again. He lines up for his 8th possession. Squares it up to Edwards. Here's the run you were talking about, Ben. Starting to generate it off half back, and this time it's Ben Hart. Biglands breaks for him towards the wing. He honours that lead now. He's got plenty of space, Biglands, because Cox just peeled off and went back towards the 50. Biglands goes inside 50 now. Burton's there, just trying to get himself in a position to go the big fly. In doing so, he infringed.
Because the advantage from Adelaide is from behind, the runners coming from behind, the forward line kick into their forward 50 is generally a long one, so it's easy to defend.
Glass to Hunter. Around the wing, it's a one-on-one between Jones and Crowd. Crowd gathered. Jones gathered him, and the ball goes out for a throw-in.
You can't speak too highly of the influence of John Worsfold on this Eagles team. Everything now instinctive. They work so hard, and the tackling terrific. He's done a wonderful job resurrecting this team, at least in the short term. Down goes Stenglein. Couldn't get it out of there. Edwards at the base of the pack. A whistle and a bounce. John Worsfold, the first-year coach, 8 years as captain of the West Coast Eagles, played alongside that man in the distance. Bit of Matera, and behind him, Michael Gardner, that eye continuing to weep. And the rucks just grab each other. Chambers, the beneficiary, kicks inside the 50. Coming up, McGregor. Down goes Jones. McGregor found it on the ground. That ball's still in there. John Cox over it. Crowell is in there as well. In fact, it's McLeod and Crowell who finish up in the pack.
Just see if these ruckmen just grapple with one another again. Rowan Jones in a bit of bother there, but it's a perfect opportunity when they're arm in arm to have a third man up, and just see if Adelaide use that.
The fact they're arm in arm, though, says something about the rules, doesn't it? This time they break away from each other. Edwards smothered off the boot. Well done by Hart. Somehow got a hand pass through. McGregor kicks down towards half forward. Jakovic, the master in that situation.
Had it covered, didn't he? Just worked Perry under the ball. Stabs it towards the outer side. Cousins is out there. So's Wooden. Wooden elects to pick it up. Tries to draw Stenglein towards him. Then goes further afield. We're Punda. He'll take it forward inside the 50. Options everywhere for West Coast, and one of them is Adam Hunter, and he takes the mark.
So they're struggling to get it past really forward of centre, Adelaide. I know they're getting their numbers back, but if you're kicking it sort of in a lobby fashion towards Ian Perry and Glenn Jakovic, you're just not going to win any ball across your half-forward line.
So here's Adam Hunter. If you have a look at the Adelaide forward line, you'll see that in a moment it is wide open. It is wide open. Here's Hunter. From 52 metres out. Kick on its way. It's a low trajectory one right to the line. There's a scrum of players on top of it, and eventually it's forced through for a behind. So the kick came in from Adam Hunter. Another blood rule. And it is that man, Adam Hunter. He'll come off. Yeah, Ben, the point we're making about the forward line at Adelaide, they had a man playing out of the square in Brett Burton. Had another man around about 40 metres out, and that was it. So when someone looked up in the centre of the ground, there's the nick on his knee there. They just haven't had the options to kick to. When West Coast go forward, as we saw there with Hunter moments ago, there were options everywhere. Hunter off, Matera on.
Generally what's been happening is the Adelaide players have been waiting for that advantage, which is behind them, to actually come across. So quite often there's a pass across the ground, which is all well and good, but sooner or later you've got to get it deep inside your forward 50.
So Hart with the kick in, goes to himself. Ugly looking kick off the boot, was looking for McGregor. Judd got the fist down. Rashudo gets it out to Crowell, to Stenglein. They work it wide to Edwards. He goes short towards McLeod, and they can load up from centre wing.
McLeod steps around Cox, tries to go to Bickley. Well read by Banfield to knock it away. Now Kerr Been very good in the centre square area in the last 10 minutes. Kicks inside the 50. And the mark is taken by Lynch.
And of course, if there's a problem with a turnover in the middle of the ground, generally, well, almost more often than not, it means that the West Coast forward line, in fact, is open because they're trying to generate that run. Good little intercept there from Kerr. And you see the space there that Lynch is allowed to run into.
He can kick it a long way. And I refer to that buzz around the ground again. Oh, look at this kick. Straight through the middle from 60.
Well, he came off the rookie list in round 12 and debuted with a couple of goals against Carlton. He played senior football last year in the WAFL.
He actually would have gone to school with Daniel Kerr too at Aquinas.
He was an All-Australian under-18 last season. As they say in the classics, he's a big unit. Fletcher kicks towards half forward. Chance here for Adelaide to gather through Crowell. The handball set up. Edwards had no real option but to take it to the line, so that's exactly what he did.
Just another, it's a little thing, but Rowan Jones has actually beaten 2 Adelaide players here just through willpower and putting body pressure on.
There's the wide shot of the Adelaide forward line again. You can see Jakovic marshalling the troops there at centre-half back. When they break from this, if they get the ball, there's not much to kick to. Bode to Rashudo in close. Tackle came from Cox. Marsh was taken high. He'll get the free kick. Adelaide now needs a break from this stoppage and run forward to the ball. They do so. McLeod to Rashudo. And there's that wide open forward line. Burton almost not paid. Thought he had it. Umpire called play on. And then holding the ball. The double whammy. Burton not happy. Jakovic receives the free kick. Weapunda brings it round the member's side and finds Banfield. Adelaide just look a little flat at the moment. A lot of players just walking through the middle of the ground. Banfield. The flu's been through that club all week. There'll be a few just feeling under the weather possibly. And Jones takes the mark 65 metres out. Dishes to Fletcher. Wants to move it quickly. Here comes Philip Matera on the bounce. John Cox with him again. Almost the ideal matchup. Tackle came from Lynch. Ball went to the line and we'll have a throw in. Peter Matera just walking the bench at the moment. There's the forward line for Adelaide. They're playing 2 men out of the goal square, Perry and Burton. Next closest player is Bassett. He's about 70 metres away.
That's where the problem is.
McLeod and Wooden both go to ground. Umpire's pulled out a free kick here. It's going the way of Adelaide again. It's going to come back to Andrew McLeod. Possession number 11. Averaging 24 a game, so he's on target numbers-wise. Yet to have that real impact or spark in this contest. Hunter went up in the contest against Rashudo and fisted it to the boundary line.
The problem at the minute is, I mean, there's a couple of small half forwards for Adelaide, but there's such a big distance between where those players are and the full forward line. So even if they do win possession deep in defence, there's just nowhere to go.
Banfield, a hand pass to Weapunda. Kicks inside the 50, close to the boundary line. And the mark will stand. And guess who? Lynch. He's been wonderful in this term, presenting all the time.
Well, he plays in a similar vein to the big number 40, Troy Wilson, doesn't he? He just has a ferocious attack on the footy.
He's kicking at his 4th right here. It's coming back, but too late. Through for a behind. The West Coast Eagles increase their lead. 10-6 plays 4-3. And really, it's the way they're doing it. With precision, with run, hard tackling. And just for the moment, the Crows nonplussed. A bit of talent looking on. Hart, it's a good one. Doesn't seem fully fit. Short to Bickley. Looping hand pass over the top. Crowell is forward of left half back. Kicks play down towards left half forward. Holliker goes back. Touched it. Socket away from Jakovic by Bassett. And the ball goes out of bounds. So we're approaching the major break here. And we've got a major break. 39 points. Eagles on top. Getting more overcast. Some cloud about, but not heavy cloud just for the moment. But rain is forecast. And that will make things more difficult for the Crows. Hunter, who's been very good, breaks away. Stumbles. Still he goes. Kerr alongside. Hunter kicks inside the 50. Stengline. Nicely done.
Wants to move play to the outer side of the ground. He's got a man in space. It's Ben Hart. Ball sits for him inside the boundary line. Doughty offers a lead round the wing. Weapunda right on his shoulder. Won the ball, brought it to ground, and then got the football going West Coast way through Chris Judd. High kick towards the 50. Numbers under it for Adelaide. They spoiled each other. Ball still alive at ground level. Stenglein farms it out towards John Cock. He's wrapped up in a crunching tackle. We'll have a bounce. There's Mark Miranda playing in his 100th game. Just the one possession so far in the contest. Inside the 50 for West Coast. McLeod went up and got the tap down. Bickley to Goodwin. Around his body, but straight to Banfield. 80 metres out. Here comes Weir-Punda. He runs to 60, Weir-Punda. Low trajectory kick. Has it got the carry right to the line? It's touched by Crowd. And through for another behind. In boxing terms, the Adelaide Crows at the moment on the ropes and holding on, Ben, not really being able to land any punches of their own.
Yeah, and I just think they need a presence at centre-half forward. I know Mark Rasciuto isn't all that tall, but he is the one player that can provide them that presence. So I think an idea may be to play him in the true centre-half forward position, so when in fact the ball does come down there, at least there is a contest.
Well, they have rejigged their forward line somewhat. They've got Nathan Bassett at centre-half forward, an unlikely target. He kicked 8 goals in his 78-game career. Ball's with Crowell. Gives it a thump towards the members' wing. Plenty of tall timber there for Adelaide. Marsh got his hands on it. Jones at ground level tried to get it to Cousins. He was taken in a tackle by Bickley. Stenglein dragged down off his kick. The mark's taken by Chambers. So Callum Chambers been busy. 16th touch for him. And incredibly, he's still only 3rd on the list of stats getters for West Coast.
I reckon if you had the graph this quarter, you'd say 80% of this quarter's been played in West Coast half.
You can see from the wide shot there, that's where most of the players are. The ball inside 50. McGregor mistimed his leap. It spills to the back for Biglands. Just runs through the Matera tackle. Miranda goes at him. McGregor just deflects it over towards Edwards, and he gives a looping handball to Bickley.
Bickley from half back. Lovely kick up towards the wing. Rasciuto. 10-7, 4-3. Rasciuto towards half forward. Marsh worked under it. Collicutt goes back. Takes the defensive mark.
That's the exact spot, Dennis. They needed a contest.
Hunter to the opposite side of the ground. Hasn't he been good? Storming past is Wooden. Kicks inside the 50. Philip Matera can't get across in time. It bounces out of bounds.
Son of a gun. Ben Marks inside 50 for the game. 10-3 in favour of West Coast. Just about sums it up.
So the margin 40 points. 67 plays 27. Tossed in. Lynch knocks it down. Edwards in trouble. Was that in the back? No. Another bounce. Umpire Hart thought it was, but nothing doing. Umpire Corcoran with the football. Eagles with the lead.
And Chambers just by himself inside 50. The ball comes across. He's got an easy shot at goal.
Bickley falling to the ground. Stenglein could have been taken high, and he's going to get the free kick. Plays on immediately. Dying seconds of the term. John Cock goes up towards the wing. Gallagher was busy early last week against Melbourne. Kicks down towards half forward. Bassett came hard on a lead. Juggled it across the line, though. And that's what the boundary umpire says. He didn't complete the mark inside the boundary line. If, in fact, he held it long enough at all.
Just enough body pressure by Djakovic, wasn't it, to get forced across the line.
Tossed in. Cox did well. Jams it on the boot. Bounces up towards the wing. Wooden. Still time for an Eagles score. Cox on the overlap. Goes down towards half forward. Fletcher, he was making his turn before the ball arrived. And the ball deflected across the line. Fletcher thought from a boot. Not the case.
Wooden's been pretty good. He and McLeod have both had 11 possessions, but McLeod hasn't received really any easy footy.
Here's Fletcher again. Gets the last kick of the half. So no great.
Insure with Amy, and you can get new for old replacement, as well as fast settlement on claims.
I finished school. I'm doing a Bachelor of Arts. I really like challenging myself, and it's also good just to help out. So I thought, yeah, I'll try the Army Reserves. A weekend would be, you might do bush skills, and I just finished a course where we did forward driving, and we take these vehicles anywhere they can go. I never thought I'd be able to do that. I think it's probably made me more confident, and it's good fun.
As a mum, you deserve a little pick-me-up each day. Today, Brand Power looks at delicious Pascal marshmallows. Not only are Pascal marshmallows smooth and creamy textured, they're also fat-free. And while they're great in hot drinks, their melt-in-the-mouth softness means they're also delicious as an everyday treat. And now there's new Pascal Jelly Mellows with natural colours and flavours. Topped with tasty fruit-flavoured jelly, they're great for kids' lunchboxes. The Pascal Marshmallow range at your supermarket. Brand Power, helping you buy better.
Do you open the door? Or let her open it herself? Do you make the first move? Or wait to be asked? Are you a lad? Or a snag? Do you pay? Or do you go Dutch? Do you make something of it? Or do you just keep walking? Do you stay? Or do you go? Do you change? Or do you stay true?
Here we go, great place. I've had a really good time, yeah. Had a cheeseburger. That's fantastic. They're real burgers.
So big and juicy.
That's a cool place, nice atmosphere. You've been picking out a dog breath a bit.
My favourite would have to be the Hawaiian hickory chicken burger.
A bit like those curly fries, yeah?
They look like pig's tail.
Well, I've been here more times than I can count.
Oh, men in glass houses, Mr. Ford. Hog's Breath Cafe.
Food with attitude.
It's in at Subiaco Oval. As you can see, it's getting grayer and the clouds are rolling in. Rain is forecast this afternoon. Will it get here before this game is over? And you get the feeling the game may be slipping away from Adelaide very, very quickly. 10-7-4-3 as we go down to Mark Reddings.
Dennis, have been outside both change rooms. Bad news for the West Coast Eagles. Rowan Jones didn't even take part in the warm-up just before the third quarter here, so he won't start, obviously. Some injury concerns over him. David Weir-Punda and Michael Gardner are being closely monitored. Of course, Michael Gardner coming back from that hamstring injury. The Adelaide Crows, well, that whiteboard's going to take a bit of a checking over the half-time period. And don't be surprised if Gary Ayres throws his side around. Just 4 goals in the first half, a 40-point deficit. The rain is coming. I don't have an umbrella.
Self. Right, don't worry about that. So we take a look at these Crows. That's the weather quarter as we come back across Subiaco Oval. That breeze coming in from the northwest. And Mark Rasciuto addressing the players on the ground. And generally, they've had their problems with their runners simply because they've been overmatched by Ben Cousins, 21 possessions. And Chad Fletcher's 17. Chambers just off the pace with 16 as well, and Wooden has had 12. They need more from their runners. And Simon Goodwin, well, he was injured in the 4th term against Melbourne last week. It seemed a very serious ankle injury. Full credit to him for playing this afternoon, but he certainly hasn't been an influence, Ben.
No, look, he's worked hard, Dennis, but he hasn't had his normal impact, his sort of dynamic self. He's look, he's not an underrated player anymore. He certainly was a couple of years ago. A hard-working player, but he's definitely playing under some sort of sufferance.
Most of those kicks and hand passes across half-back is the extra man. What they need is to push forward. And as we suggested, Jace, their problems in the forward 50.
Yeah, they just haven't been able to grab a hold of it, as we mentioned. Only 3 marks inside the forward 50 for a half of football. And when you consider at the other end, Quinton Lynch has taken 5 on his own. Yeah, good to see Rasciuto, though, at centre-half forward. He'll definitely make a contest in that area.
So the West Coast Eagles looking for another victory here. And if they are to win, then suddenly, surely, they must start talking about the finals. Good bounce to start proceedings in the 3rd term. McLeod, after Clark got it down, the hurried kick towards half forward. Rasciuto got an awkward half volley. Cousins brilliantly away. Hunter runs to the wing, kicks it down towards his half forward line. In front, Hart yet again, steadfast in defence. It's across the ground. This is Nelson. Nelson kicking down towards half forward. Goodwin's the target. He appeared to hobble slightly towards that ball, unless I'm mistaken. Took a good mark, though. Stenglein towards the attacking 50. Perry in trouble. Couldn't hang on. Did well, though. Doughty running out of space. And the ball goes out of bounds.
Welsh and Stevens, two of their top 3 goal scorers, both missing this afternoon. As we look at the Adelaide bench, they just need to manufacture a target inside 50. Perry's presented himself regularly, but hasn't really looked threatening.
Got Marsh down there as well at the minute, so he can provide a contest in the air.
Plenty of marking power. Someone's just got to find a rich vein of form. McLeod emerged from the contest but didn't have the football. Stenglein had it. Wooden had him, and we'll have another bounce. Worked hard for each other, West Coast, this afternoon. Shepherds to half-time, 9-1. So they have protected the ball carrier. They've moved it very well up and down the ground. Clark got the tap down. Goodwin. That's what we're talking about. Dished it off to Rashudo, but his kick missed the target, through for behind. They are the best in the competition at manufacturing goals from that situation, Ben. We need to see more of that.
Yeah, Matthew Clark, just a lovely little palm down then, wasn't it? Just generated that shot on goal for Mark Rashudo, but he's got to continue to work hard, and look, he's had his work cut out against both Gardner and Dean Cox.
See the zone drifting towards a member side. That's where McIntosh comes. Clark, Gardner there, down to McLeod. Got the hands free, got it out to Marsh. He's taken into tackle by Fletcher, turns it over to Cousins, to Judd. Look at the acceleration from Judd. He's got a man fall to the ball. It's Chambers. Away he goes, has a bounce, runs through the front edge of the centre square, steps around Edwards, runs to 55, does Chambers, goes towards the goal square material. John Connor's a goal! Great goal, Chambers!
The trend continues at the Harris Scarf winter clearance, where we've also dropped big names by up to 60%. Country linen sheet sets have been dropped 25 to 50%, all sizes now $29.95. We've dropped an incredible 20 to 60% off men's and women's winter fashion. Encore 100% down quilts have dropped 30 to 40%. Queen size now $149, save $100. And this Ronson stainless steel kettle toaster pack has been dropped to just $99, save $30. Pick up a catalogue and drop in with the Harris Scarf winter clearance.
Troy Wilson, recently engaged, looking on, recently in Bali. Rucks go at it. Charging through Bickley. Did well. Kicks inside the 50. Oh, that was an interesting attempt at the mark by Marsh. Little back thrust there before he took off. Now he runs into trouble. That ball locked in, not coming out. Callum Chambers, 14 goals for the season now. In fact, I think it might be 15 with that last one. 15 goals for the season.
And Jacko's just mentioning to Marsh he didn't like the little backhander there, Dennis. But I reckon in the first half, Jakovic would have taken that mark, so it's a good result. The ball's still in Adelaide's forward half.
Marsh directs it down. Stenglein, McLeod, clever hands. Rashudo, high ball, wanders towards the pocket. McIntosh keeps it in front, close to the boundary line. He ran out. The ball stayed in. Burton's got it. He's kicked 3, goes at his 4th. Across the face and the behind.
Just a couple of glimmers of hope there for Adelaide. Just starting to get their hands on the ball around the stoppages. Clearance is 25-22 in favour of West Coast so far this afternoon. As we've mentioned,
to see whether
getting it close, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But it's interesting. McIntosh has basically gone long on every occasion from fullback. They're just getting numbers underneath the long ball, and he goes long again.
Towards the member side, Jakovic his target. Stenglein got hands to the ball but couldn't bring it down. Perry there against Judd. Judd picked it up, going nowhere. Taken in a couple of tackles there. He'll have a ball up. Michael Gardner will come across. And there is the West Coast forward line as we pan around at Subiaco Oval. The ball tied up against the boundary line on the members' side. Clark, handball to Rashudo. Goes out of bounds.
They're getting first hands in this quarter, Adelaide, but because it's a one-on-one situation from West Coast's point of view, they're actually not really going anywhere with the ball, so it's a good, hard, tough play. McLeod's got his hands on, but Wooden's been right on him on each occasion, so, you know, the disposal's not effective at all.
Gardner got the tap. Bounce favoured Doughty. Swings it around his body towards half forward. The mark taken by Goodwin. Tried to release the hands and give it to Rashudo, couldn't do so. Hung onto it instead. Fletcher came across and smothered his kick. Banfield bumped off it by Bickley. Stenglein gathers to McLeod. Tries to step around Colica. Handball on the overlap to Goodwin. He runs to 25 metres out and bangs through another one.
Holden Rodeo. For all your dirty work.
Jamiroquai, the Cat in the Hat, live. Busting out the grooves, the moves and the music at the Entertainment Centre. Jamiroquai. Tickets on sale next Friday. Presented by Channel V and SAFM.
So the margin 38 points. Still that crossing breeze continues to blow steadily. Gardner has to wait. Clark was up too early. McLeod had it, lost it. Stenglein inside, trying to force the ball out. Well, indicating he's trying to do that. Not sure he was hell-bent on getting the ball out. We'll have a bounce.
Gee, Callum Chambers, I reckon you can almost say he's turned the corner. He's had the 17 possessions, but he's had 9 disposals inside 50. So just been very penetrating as he's run forward.
Hunter deserved a free and gets it inside the centre square. Yes, Chambers always gave the suggestion he was going to be a good player simply because he can kick a goal. So can this man, Miranda, playing his 100th AFL match towards the opposite pocket. John Cock knocked it down, picked up by McGregor. Doughty over his head. Judd leads back in the race. Man on towards the outer side. The man we were talking of, Judd didn't see him. Chambers was alone on the 50. Down towards full forward went his kick. Missed by Philip Matera. Edwards jammed it on the boot. Put it out of bounds on the full. Well, the Crows dodged a bullet there because Chambers was 30 metres in the clear, standing on the 50. He's got the kick here.
So there is Chambers right up against the fence. Now sets himself to thump it long from right on 50 on the boundary line. Chambers gives it a ride almost all the way to the line. Ball still alive. Off the hands of Kerr, rushed through for a behind to West Coast.
You mentioned before, Dennis, the impact of the bench players, and Chambers and Judd in particular. They've had between them 12 inside 50. So not only are they getting the footy, but they're creating havoc running forward.
Hart to Nelson, his second touch for the afternoon. Goes long around the outer wing. McGregor, West Coast, chance to gather at ground level. McLeod, he's wrapped up. Too high, said the umpire. Adelaide win the contest. Andrew McLeod, possession number 16 for him coming up. Has Stenglein on in the middle. Cousins just lurking off him. Decides to kick it high and long towards half forward. Big pack of players there. Perry goes up in front, takes the mark.
Got to get
Wants to move it quickly to Bickley. Bickley goes inside 50 towards Burton, and he takes it on the chest. It was a good long, hard lead from Brett Burton, and Ben, as you called, they needed to move it in quickly. They did exactly that.
And I reckon that's the first time, though, they've had a play-on situation from just forward of the wing, and that's a more of a, you know, your traditional entry into the forward line. You're not relying on some individual brilliance from McLeod or a snap from Burton as he executed in that first half. He was the more traditional full forward, good hard lead, and good pass to him.
It's kick three from 45 metres out. Kick on its way, goes right to the line and clears it. Brett Burton has got 4.
And you sense they've got the rocket.
And there's the siren and another great result. They're on a roll. They are on fire. They're unbeatable at home and they're just as brilliant away. No one's even getting close.
Golden draft, thanks.
To find out how much you could be saving, call Acquired Home Loans now. Our service is free. Don't just get a home loan, inquire at Acquired and get the right loan. Better loan, better life. Your home with Acquired.
His career high is 5 against Richmond, round 8 last season. His best against the Eagles was 3 back in 1999, so he's bettered that right here at an important time. Clark missed it on the way down, goes again, slaps it only as far as Wooden. Bounces across to McLeod, though. Quick hands to Stenglein. Kicks inside the 50. Marsh goes down. Got a hand pass off. Chance for Perry. Picks it up. Hand passes back outside the 50. Now a chance for Nelson. Trying to bend it around. Good-looking effort. He's got another one. When I say another one, another for the Crows.
Great team goal. And that, I know it was a good clearance and a good handball from McLeod from that centre break, but the difference in this quarter is they've got a contest at centre half forward. Marsh doesn't take the mark here, but he hasn't provided Jakovic a run at the footy. There's a loose ball. Perry swoops on it. But if Marsh hadn't just competed with Jakovic, brought the ball to ground, be no goal for Adelaide. Good play, Marsh.
So 3 goals to 1 in favour of Adelaide this term. There is Andrew McLeod. 6 disposals for the quarter, 17 for the game. And some of those crucial midfielders we've spoken about, the engine room for the Adelaide Crows, starting to get busy in this term. 6 clearances to 2 for the quarter. And there's another one. Clark, McLeod. Oh, numbers again with Adelaide. Crowell just launches one high inside the 50. Burton tries to work to the front. He can't do so. Good body strength from Glass. He takes the mark on his chest at defensive 20. So West Coast defence just under pressure for the first time this afternoon.
Well, they're winning the ball out of the middle, aren't they, Adelaide? And if you can get it deep inside 50, it's amazing how goals can be created really from nothing.
Decide to go to the outer side. Kick from Judd. Missed its target. Banfield. Jakovic there in support. Little handball back to Banfield. Eventually they get it outside defensive 50 towards Cousins. 24th touch for the skipper. Wants to move it quickly. Gets around onto his left boot. Kicks towards half forward. Embley attacks it on the bounce. It's going to be downfield.
Dealt with after he disposed of the footy.
Against Stengline. Embley will take it. 70 metres out. Here's the replay. Got rid of it there. Tackled after he disposed of the football. Embley chips it over the top. McLeod thought about coming out. Saw Lynch coming the other way.
Didn't he?
Discretion the better part of valour on that occasion. And we'll have a bounce.
Just would have thought he would have tried to get his body in between the footy and Lynch then, but maybe he thought, well, what's the point? I want to play out the rest of the game.
Yeah, I've got a good career going here. Interference in the ruck contest. It's going the way of West Coast and Dean Cox.
Gee, that is frustrating for a coach. You see Adelaide, they're coming back into the game. They're good players are getting their hands on the ball, and just a soft free kick, you know, from a ball up there. It was really, I mean, it was sort of 6 of one and half a dozen the other, I reckon. But Gary Ayres wouldn't be happy with that.
It's a fine line between using your body in ruck contests and actually doing a great job at disposing of your opponent and giving away a free kick, isn't it?
Absolutely. No, I honestly think the umpire's got to have a feel for the game on those occasions when both are having a crack at one another. Just be play on.
So here's Dean Cox, yet to score this afternoon from right on the 50. Kick on its way. High, long and straight. The Eagles get one back.
So you talked about Callum.
The Duracell Alkaline Battery, long-lasting with lots of bite. Duracell Copper Top, long-lasting alkaline.
I have to say, Scott McLaren just about the best umpire going around, and he was very intent on bouncing that football, not concentrating on the ruckman. Came up at the last moment and really just caught the end of it. This is Beckley alongside the centre circle, kicks towards half forward from behind Jakovic, off hands. Rashudo should kick a goal. McLeod is on, he ignores that, punches it home and hits the post.
Gee, that's terrible. He had to handle that, Dennis, I reckon, to McLeod. He would have walked into an open goal there, Andrew McLeod, and I know Rashudo should have kicked it anyway, but it would have made us certain if he just popped it over the top.
They did speak immediately after the kick at the post.
The blood rule.
Not for long.
Is that Clark coming off?
So Gary Ayres decided to leave him on despite that indiscretion at the bounce moments ago that resulted in Cox's goal, but now he's off anyway. Chambers off the ground as well. And Peter Matera comes back on. Not exactly good news for the Crows, but Chambers has been very good. And McIntosh to bring it in after a let-off there. That had to be a goal. McIntosh straight down the middle. Jakovic had it knocked away. Back inside the 50 by Marsh. Goodwin goes away on his left side. Good tackle by Peter Matera. just as he was in the act of kicking. It affected the kick. It went out of bounds on the full. McIntosh wastes no time, pops it in short, and it's taken by Fletcher. Looks across the ground, needs to be precise, and that is Banfield. McIntosh running. Kerr is on. In fact, he goes wider still. Judd couldn't control it. Keeps it in. Still Judd over the footy. Draws a crowd. Tackled by two. Taken down. Ball up.
Well, I think that's enthralling, seeing Chris Judd and Ben Hart have a crack at one another, one out. It was the only time I reckon I've seen today in a one-on-one contest that Ben Hart looked like getting beaten. He was good enough to butter up. And so I just mentioned that Judd's just drifted off the pack. If the ball goes to him, he'll run into an open goal.
Hart goes up in the contest. Cox's handball partly smothered. It could come out towards Judd. Here's where Punda.
There we go.
Oh. Tried to take Edwards on. There's three Eagles there rather, and it's Judd to Cox to Hunter. They're running forward to the ball at the moment. 55 metres out, just pushed off his kick. Matera loses his footing, goes to ground. The ball clears that contest and runs through for a behind.
I must say, I mean, Adelaide obviously got the attitude to have a crack at it, but that was poor team play by them to allow Chris Judd. It was actually 4 on none when that ball came into Wirrapunda's hands. If it actually been a proper handball executed, it would have been an easy goal.
Bassett to Crowell. Has it in the back pocket. Margin is 33 points. Approaching time on in the third term. Clark and Hunter both flew high. Kerr at the back. Away he comes. A high kick inside 50. Embley back with courage. Great courage from Embley.
Play on.
Not paid by the umpire. A couple of players had good purchase on that. And in the end, he calls, I guess, the equivalent of a jump ball.
It was well done, wasn't it? Yeah, I think maybe Bassett just got a finger on that prior to Embley trying to mark the footy.
So ball up. Plenty of players around it. Found its way to Bickley. He got it to Hart. A one-on-one between Matera and Nelson. Oh. Matera kept his eyes on it. Just thought about running away. Nelson got a piece of his jumper and prevented that. So Matera just forward to centre wing. Now wants to set it up. Low trajectory kick. Missed all targets. Adelaide a chance through Crowell. He's dispossessed. Ball alive now for West Coast. Matera. Crowell puts his body on the line again. Stengline bounces off the Judd tackle. And they work it out towards Bickley. He's wrapped up in a tackle himself by Fletcher. Spills now to Judd. Puts the step on Clark. Little kick inside intended for Cousins. Releases his hands. Gives it to Peter Matera. And his kick goes across the face. His brother Philip throws his hands in the air and says, "What about me?"
Gee, great play by Fletcher, wasn't it? I thought he was going to get... Well, his tackle was going to get broken. It was just a brilliantly executed tackle by Chad Fletcher. Allowed Peter Matera really to get on the end of that footy.
This is Nelson. 12-10, 7-6. Just over 9 minutes till three-quarter time. Nelson is a long kick, and that's a telling one. Doughty drifting in behind the players who I think thought they were going to compete. Doughty towards half-forward, where Shudo had it knocked away. Colliker did brilliantly. Back behind Hunter. He's been very good. Gets a hand pass to space. Clark comes to meet it. Meeting him Wirrapunda. Juggling the ball. Cox slips a hand pass away. Peter Matera. He's been in the action since he came on. Judd on the opposite side of the ground. Kicks inside the 50. And Lynch has taken the mark. That was wonderful team play. And Lynch quite capable of launching this one and booting his fourth. So for all their efforts, the Crows, the margin was 40 points at half-time. Currently, it's at 34. He misses to the near side, but again, distance was not a problem.
3 goals, 4 to Quinton Lynch. There's Mark Bickley running the boundary line. 17 possessions this afternoon. The former skipper, Bassett, plays on. Handball to Hart, to Edwards. They run it straight up the middle. Edwards spears it into the middle. Doughty was picked off by Peter Matera, and the mark was paid.
Miranda's on.
Just regained the ascendancy there as we head down to the boundary. Here's Mark Reddings.
Yeah, it's interesting the use of Michael Gardner. He's waiting for his chance to come back on the ground. He's been off today already because of the blood rule, but no doubt John Worsfold trying to nurse his star ruckman back from that hamstring injury.
Matera to Embley, called to play on now. Tries to run around Bassett. Back to Peter Matera. Just swamped by Mark Rasciuto. Ball still alive. Here's Judd. Throws a handball into open space. McGregor attacks it. Stood tall, gave a handball to Crowell. Out to John Cock. And Adelaide diffused that situation. Comes wide towards Doughty. Good strong mark. Was outsized against Dean Cox. Good strong hands. Over the top to Rashuto. He goes towards half forward. Marsh interfered with in the ruck contest. In the marking contest, rather. Djakovic straight into his back. And Marsh has it 70 metres from goal. So Ben Marsh, third possession for the afternoon as Lynch comes off and Gardner on. It's a high kick inside the 50. Big pack of players flying the mark. Taken by Biglands for Adelaide. They converge from all directions. Biglands kept his eyes on it. There's plenty of body contact in that pack. He pulled down a strong grab.
Yeah, but Marsh initially just providing a contest that wasn't there in that first half. They're able to win that ball in between the centre square and the 50-metre line, so therefore they win it. They're kicking into a dangerous area 4 to 50.
Quiet day for Biglands, but he's popped that one through and gets his first.
And
I'm a chartered accountant in an accounting and administration role. I actually joined the Army Reserves, and that was my way of doing something physical. It was just something that seemed to offer some potential change in lifestyle. There are many highlights. The one that comes to mind the most is when I went to Hawaii, flying over the Hawaiian coastline in Black Hawk helicopters. I'll live with those memories forever.
There's Marsh in the contest. That's Marsh, take my word for it. There's Mark Bickley looking on. He'll be back in the action shortly. And that's our scoreline, back to 29 points. Clark up very high, juggling the ball. Cox gets a hand pass away. Up and down was Matera into the grasp of Nelson. Edwards did well. McLeod heard the voice. Rashuto. It'll give back. McLeod's kick inside the 50 then. Watch for Burton up. Should have held that mark. Got both hands to it. Slipped through. This is Djakovic. The Crows looking a lot better. But Djakovic's kick is good. Got it to Cox. Man on the wing. In fact, a pair of them. Fletcher takes the footy. Wirrapunda's on for the hand pass. He can run onto the loose ball. He accelerates away. Bode is coming across, not in time. There's the kick inside the 50. Philip Matera. What a wonderful mark. Threw himself at the football, and it's stuck.
Gee, I think that was a fantastic pass as well, Dennis, from David Wirrapunda. He's just summed that up absolutely perfectly. And that ball is just absolutely perfect on the, Matera threw himself at it, but brilliant pass as well.
So Philip Matera, a chance now to, at least temporarily, put down this uprising from the Crows, who are looking good, particularly around the centre circle. Matera generally kicks these, and this is no exception.
Good comeback from Wirrapunda as well, because he was injured early, started on the half-forward line opposed to Stengline, hurt his ankle, and just working his way into the match. Fletcher's been very good as well. He's up to 19 possessions. But Wirrapunda, when he's running at goal like that, with really no pressure, he basically can do anything with the footy. And that's been, I reckon, the jewel of the match, John Cock and Phil Matera. And well, I reckon John Cock will be thinking he's been hardly done by, because Phil's kicked 3, hasn't he?
And he had the 4 touches for Phil Matera. John Cox had 9. Just so very, very dangerous. Again, Adelaide emerged from the centre clearance. Stengline. Rashuto tries to get on the end of it just outside the 50. Looked up, had support. It was Doughty. High kick towards full forward. Chance again for Adelaide. Biglands worked under it by McIntosh, who then fists it to the line. Biglands appealing for a free kick, saying he was held in the contest. Umpire will have none of it as Miranda comes off to be replaced by Andrew Williams. So throw in, deep in attack for Adelaide. Clark against Cox. Clark in the front position, tried to paddle it down to Bode. McLeod there lurking. The tackle from Banfield, the snap from McLeod right to the line. Brilliant piece of defensive work from Glass. And it's a rush behind to Adelaide. It's head boundary side, Mark Reddings.
Well, the rain hasn't come just yet, but the lights are being turned on as we speak.
So McIntosh, bring it back into play. The margin now 34 points. Deep into time on in this third term. Again, he decides to kick long from the kick in. Djakovic goes up. Marsh fists it back inside 50, but only as far as Wooden. Steps around Nelson. A man breaks to the outer side. It's Adam Hunter. Crowell's got to go. He's got 2 to beat. The bounce was cruel. He attacked it and it went straight through his legs to Williams. Williams over the top, was looking for Weir Punda. Telegraphed it, was picked off by McGregor. Nelson, too slow to get rid of it. Fletcher wrapped him up, holding the ball. So Chad Fletcher's having a great day. This is his 20th possession coming up. Stabs it inside 50. Here comes Lynch. Strong mark over the top of Bassett. He's kicked 3 goals for this afternoon in his 2nd game of football. Coming up for his 9th possession. 7 marks.
He shut his eyes and taken that. Unbelievable, but it's a fantastic... when you see a young player just throw himself at the footy, that's a great sign.
This for his 4th. He's outside 50. Don't worry about that because he won't. Slips as he kicks it. So it only goes through goalpost high. 4 goals to Quinton Lynch.
Gee, it's just been I think the pleasing thing from West Coast, obviously the former Ben Cousins, but Lynch has been outstanding. But I reckon Darren Class in deep in defence has been pretty good as well. I mean, when you've got a forward taking on 2 backmen, I mean, Bassett's thrown his left arm at him to try and punch that ball away. I mean, that is a great sign. Not only has he beaten his own opponent, he's beaten the 3rd man coming in. But Glass in defence, he's had an indifferent season, but I reckon he's pretty good as well. And this bloke, I reckon's wondering, where am I going to be playing next week?
He's happy, but he's not overjoyed. One of those situations. We love those. Clark knocks it down. Stenglines. The Crows continue to dig it out of the middle. All to no avail, though. The Eagles quite happy to mount attacks from back here. And this man has been important. Hunter swings it wide. Pitmatira slides in and takes the mark at right half back. Fletcher is running hard, aggressively. The kick not the best. He had to check, but he still had time to mark it. Such was his advantage over Goodwin. Now he goes down towards half forward, and Gardner, juggled attempt. He takes the mark. Well, they're winning the contest 1-on-1. Gardner for space. Goes down towards Lynch. Out he came. Bassett slow to get up. Bode gets a hand pass away meantime. Doughty. That's Bassett. Lynch came at him. Hart. High ball towards the wing. Goodwin takes the mark. Well, you pay a price if you fill the hole against the West Coast Eagles. Doesn't matter who's down there.
Bassett's hurt too.
Yes, Edwards. Corky, I would think, right on the thigh. Fitness test coming up. Oh! He goes out wide. Crowell's got it. He's pushed up from half back. Short one. Stengline. He's on the wing. Goes for distance. Down towards centre half forward. Perry in front of Jakovic. Falls in front. Rashudo. They need a goal. Rashudo still going. Outside the 50. Swings it back towards full forward. Glass. Well done by Burton. No free kick. I think it carried the pair. It did.
Gee, that's a remarkable finish from Rashudo. He's just held onto the footy for probably, I don't know, 12 seconds. A couple of people have had a crack at him, but he's had the poise to evade that tackle. Just this one here. He was going to kick it on his left, and just Cousins overcommitting, and to kick it with that trajectory, left to right, yeah, just Glass just missing that ball. That's an amazing kick off a couple of steps from outside 50.
So Rashudo gets his first. He's 19 touches.
I reckon he's lifted in this 3rd quarter as well.
Just sporting the soft mohawk, which is apparently coming into fashion. Maybe just a tribute to Paul Medhurst here at Subiaco Oval.
Via David Beckham.
Back in the middle. Clark at the tap. Peter Matera emerges from the congestion. Gets onto his right boot. Goes looking for Banfield. Well-timed fist from Edwards. Judd there at ground level. Wrapped up by Hart. Judd goes again. Does he have possession? Umpire says no, he doesn't. He'll take the free kick. 19th touch coming up for Chris Judd. 8th for the quarter. Been busy. Against some quality opposition too in Ben Hart.
Is it my imagination, Ben, or is that breeze backing around and Adelaide will finish on a pretty strong breeze?
Yeah, absolutely.
Judd goes looking for Lynch. Just clears the contest there. Hunter towards the line, can't keep it in.
I think that's why that Phil Matera goal was so critical early on. Adelaide were making a bit of a mini comeback, and they will finish with probably a 3 or 4 goal breeze behind them.
There's the breeze. The flag's just picking up here at Subi. Clark at the tap down towards Crowell, just fumbled it. In a dangerous position now for Adelaide. Got the handball out to Bode. Worked it well to Biglands. He looks up. What's he got to kick to? Looks for the Rashudo-Banfield contest. It clears that. Marsh. Jakovic storms through. Has a bounce to Glenn Jakovic. Spears it inside the 50, looking for Hunter. Great play from the veteran. The eyes lit up. He ran straight ahead, gathered and delivered. And a chance now for Adam Hunter to go back and kick his first for the afternoon. '21st possession coming up for Adam Hunter.
He's essentially played half-back all match, hasn't he? I'm not sure whether he's just drifted down or whether there was a positional change there, but he's, gee, a great game. And, you know, Glass, Chambers, Hunter, really no names at the start of the year, but had fantastic seasons.
And he pops through the 4th goal of his career, Adam Hunter. Played most of his junior football as an athletic full forward. We've seen him mainly in defence for West Coast this season, but just showing his versatility on that occasion.
Yeah, no, I think Dennis, we got the impression that Dennis thinks he's been very good today, and he has. But you're right, he's shown a versatility that I didn't quite think was in him. I mean, he's played all his footy at Swan Districts as basically a full forward, and to add the ability to go back in defence and be more of a marking and running, attacking half-back flanker, it's great for him.
Dying seconds, 3rd term, and that was the goal that could break the resistance, I think. Rashudo, Dowdy, kick out of the middle by Nelson. Down towards half forward. Can the Crows muster a late goal? McLeod charges in. Wooden there, step for step. Comes across to Goodwin. Back to McLeod. They've got to kick a goal here. Nelson, McLeod. Still they go. Wider still. Goodwin about 15 metres in from the boundary. Has it got the accuracy? No. Some holding on. Free kick to the Eagles. And that will just about do it for this term. So in the quarter, both sides will have added 5 goals, and the margin back to what it was at half-time, which is not good enough for the Crows. There's the siren. They had a couple of hard chances in that quarter, you've got to say, the Crows, and every time they needed the next goal, it was the Eagles who got it. The Eagles on top.
Tonight, only 12 of the Woomera escapees remain at large. More have been caught in scrub near Port Augusta. And World Cup final frenzy as Brazil and Germany prepare for tonight's decider.
I'm a chartered accountant in an accounting and administration role. I actually joined the Army Reserves, and that was my way of doing something physical. It was just something that seemed to offer some potential change in lifestyle. There are many highlights. The one that comes to mind the most is when I went to Hawaii, flying over the Hawaiian coastline in Black Hawk helicopters. I'll live with those memories forever.
The Cat in the Hat, live. Busting out the grooves, the moves and the music at the Entertainment Centre. Jamiroquai. Tickets on sale next Friday. Presented by Channel V and SAFM.
Graham's half-yearly clearance is one sale that really stands out. Right now, you can save up to 50% on selected items. There are plenty of golden opportunities to save, or make diamonds your best friend forever. Perhaps you'd prefer white gold or platinum. Just ask. For a short time, you'll save up to 50% on selected items in our entire range. A Graham sale is always genuine to make it really stand out from the crowd. Graham's Jewelers.
When you choose to buy Australian-made or foreign-made, you're deciding if jobs will stay in Australia. You're deciding if our factories will stay open. You're deciding if Australian families will be secure and if our children can grow up expecting a solid future. You can be certain it's Australian made just by looking for the Australian made logo.
Being able to get out into the bush, make good friends, and at the same time defend Australia. I think that it is an important role, and I take great pride in that.
There'll be moments that stun you. There'll be memories to haunt you. And fear that stalks.
Jeez. Our greatest dramas are planning big surprises, and nothing will ever be the same.
Stingers.
You do not want to mess with me, Kaplan.
Young lions.
So that rocket didn't have your name. I don't feud with criminals.
Are you married? McLeods. Are you? Smallville. A legend is reborn.
Stunning new drama joins all your favourites for a brilliant new season.
This is going to be great!
You'll only see it here. Australia's favourite drama on Australia's favourite network, Channel 9.
This AFL coverage proudly brought to you by Carlton Draft, Amy and the Navy, Army and Air Force.
The lights are on at Subiaco Oval, but the people you can see are certainly not home. 34,934 here at Subi this afternoon, watching the West Coast Eagles get to a lead of 40 points at three-quarter time, just as the margin was at half-time, 15-11-9-7. And what about Lynch on the forward line? 4 goals, thumping kick, and anywhere near the 50, he can be deadly. Some of the action from that third term, Ben.
Yeah, well, Chambers has continued his fantastic form. He's kicked a couple of running goals and full of confidence. At least Adelaide, their stars got their hands on the ball. That was just a good lead and more of a traditional entry and as a consequence goal from their full forward. Rashudo was good in that quarter. He got back in, really got them back to level terms in as far as that quarter is concerned. McLeod was outstanding, so was Goodwin, but when you see Jakovic running off half-back, you know normally that West Coast are in for a pretty good game. And Hunter continued his good form, just drifted forward at the end of that quarter and kicked a good goal.
John Worsfold and one of his assistants now, Guy McKenna, is with Mark Reddings.
Yes, Dennis. Well, Guy, John Worsfold still had plenty to say at that last change, even though you're 40 points up.
Oh, yeah, I mean, well, they kicked 5 and we kicked 5, so we're not happy about that, but we just got to finish this game off by getting in and getting the ball first.
What about Quentin Lynch? What do you put him for breakfast? He's a big boy. When he grows up, he can play some football as well. Yeah, he's certainly on 12 wheat bix, I'd say. But, you know, I think it's a great effort by him. I mean, second up, I mean, he had his first run a couple of weeks ago against Carlton, but second up, he's been playing very well. Last quarter, play the percentages? Oh, play the percentages. Let's run the game out. You know, we're a chance to, you know, kick away, and we should do that. Thanks, Guy. Just before I go, the Adelaide Crows remaining very positive despite being 40 points down. They have got the breeze, so they're not still without some silly chance.
Thanks, Mark. Some famous faces there would get a lot of Eagles supporters reminiscing. John Worsfold talking to the group and Guy McKenna coming off. When you think about it, McKenna, Jakovic and Worsfold, it wasn't a bad line. Ben Cousins, who started so brilliantly, has had only, when I say only, he's had 9 possessions in the last 2 quarters, 16 in the first. So can the Crows get back from here? It's the sort of comeback that could galvanise them for a run at the finals, but they'll have to be very good. Gardner goes up, thumps it down. And away they come. Beckley kicks towards half forward. Got it from Doughty. Goodwin had a good third term. Swings it inside the 50. McIntosh, though, goes back and takes the mark uncontested. Rain is coming down now. At this stage, just a light drizzle. Heavy cloud about. So the Bureau have got it right. We'll get some heavy rain tonight, if not in this final term. Wirapunda out against the boundary line, goes for distance, hugs the boundary line with the kick to the back of the pack, but it's going to be a free kick, and I think it'll go to the Eagles out there. It'll be taken by Michael Gardner, just eased back into competition this afternoon.
7th touch for Gardner towards half forward. Embley under the contest at the back, reading it beautifully was Ben Hart. And he'll come away. He's been one of Adelaide's best, not just today, right throughout his career. Goes towards John Cock. Was an optimistic kick. Here's a chance for Philip Matera. Accelerates away. Runs to 35 metres. Draws a play. Handball over the top to Lynch. Lynch gives it away as well to Williams. Will someone kick it? Edwards does. And he goes wide and finds Crowell.
Ben Hart just breathed a sigh of relief, didn't he?
Said, yeah, that worked out well. We got it to Crowell. Goes out wide looking for McLeod. Interfered with in the marking contest, and he'll take the free kick. Around the outer wing, Doughty's his target, just in front of Weir-Punda, and takes the mark inside the boundary line. Michael Doughty towards half forward. Perry's there, so's Marsh. Marsh went up in front, brought it down. Here's Goodwin. Inside the 50, it's a 2-on-2. Bassett up in front. At ground level, Jakovic tries to crash through the tackle. It's pinched by Marsh. Handball out in front of Bassett. Can he get a boot to it? Peter Matera dived across the contest. It's still alive. Bassett. Nelson right up against the boundary line. Little handball backward to Burton. Tries to sell the dummy. Still inside on the boundary line. Goes again. Burton bends it back and kicks an absolute ripper.
You say this guy's in love with you. Yes, I'm in love.
Caprice Series 2. Only the best.
The way I do.
Well, if you were catching a kids' team, you'd say to his daddy, he shows off a bit. That was fantastic, wasn't it? Just took them on.
He's a lair if he misses it.
Now, that was great stuff. They needed that too. Out of the middle, it's Clark. Kicks it down towards half forward. Howell at bounce. Very high. No one got to it initially. On the way down, it was touched by Goodwin. Taken by Perry. Intercepted by Williams. Gains about 15 metres. And it trickles across the boundary line. So maybe still hope. Time remaining. You can see the margin. Substantial. And I gave you that crowd figure. Another good crowd for the West Coast Eagles. Clark directs it down gently. Stolen though by Banfield. Kicks it close to the boundary. Judd goes across and the mark to stand. Mark with a step inside the boundary. He's been very good, Chris Judd. Had his best effort with the kick though. Goes a long way in the air from behind. Biglands tries to get it on the ground. Bickley in trouble. Taken by Kerr. Held to him by Edwards. And a bounce just inside the attacking 50 for the West Coast Eagles. So the margin back to 34 points, and the Crows can't concede a goal here.
Clark up against Gardner. Ball free to Fletcher. Releases the hands to Kerr. Swings around one tackle. Oh, stands up. Snaps a goal.
Well, that's quite amazing.
That was. If you think this is fast, you should see iPrimus Broadband. iPrimus Broadband delivers high-speed downloads at up to 30 times faster than dial-up internet. You don't have to install a second line, and you can use the phone while you're on the net. It gives you faster streaming, faster connections, and is available from only $55 a month. For more information, visit our website or call 1300-850000. iPrimus from Primus Telecom.
Mind-numbing stuff, that. 4 West Coast Eagles getting the attack side of the pack, and Wooden standing by himself about 30 metres from goal, directly out in front. It wasn't used, but you wonder how the heck it can happen. McLeod gets a hand pass away. Rashudo on his knees. Could have been pushed in the back. Nelson did well. Stenglein. McLeod trying to lift his team. Spears a kick inside the 50. Jakovic calmly, nicely away. Cousins. Fletcher is on. He tries to get the ball to Fletcher. Chopped off by Doughty. Well played. Hand pass to Stenglein. Metres in the clear from 70 metres out then. Sets it high. Burton behind. Touched by Glass. And Colica splits the middle. Behind.
So the margin back to 39 points. Gone just over 5 minutes in the final term, and it's McIntosh with the kick in for West Coast.
Reckon he'll go long again? Every time he has today, just been incredible.
It's worked all right for them.
It has.
On that occasion, not so good. My apologies to Ashley McIntosh. Should have at least waited until it got to the contest before I put the moz on him. Bassett to Rashudo. Thumps it back towards the goal square. Weir-Punda Oh, trying to take it to the line. Perry sockers it off the ground. It's a goal.
It was unbelievable. This car pulled out right in front of you.
Big, and you should have seen the look on his face. The car has gone
up on two wheels. There's a set of shots, and he's heading straight for it.
Straight through this window. And then this other car came along and bang right in the back of him.
Apparently, he got straight through to Amy. Lovely girl, sorting out the whole thing from start to finish.
Lucky.
Absolutely. Burton was wonderful again. Great pressure. He's kicked 5. He didn't get that last one, but he helped manufacture it for Perry. The hand pass comes out from Clark with the run of the football down towards half-forward McLeod. Bickley, slick hands away. Rashudo. He's about 55 metres out. Goal umpire Allen has called this one. Wave your flags, Benny. What a wonderful kick.
Look, they're winning the footy, Adelaide, and they were poor early on in that ball up deep in their defensive zone, but they're winning the footy, and Ayres will be saying, let's run this game out. Let's just try and put a little bit of pressure on the West Coast Eagles. We've got the wind at our back. This just coming forward through McLeod, and Rashudo, eyes just lit up then. He knew he had to kick that goal for his team. Fantastic captain's goal.
5 inside 50s for the quarter to Adelaide for 3 goals. So suddenly their forward line is lighting up. And this one's far from over. We saw Friday night at Colonial Stadium.
I reckon Clark's been pretty good in the just getting his hands on.
Gardner that time, but Bickley got it. Edwards trying for another centre break. Here's Bickley. Had some time to assess his options and swings a handball wide to Doughty. Crows come forward again. Perry just underneath the football on that occasion. Bassett's at least giving them a contest down forward. Rashudo's handball picked off by Matera. Swings it around his body. And Weir Punda stands underneath it. Wanted to move it on quickly. Had a man Cousins, but Stengline read it beautifully.
Yeah, he just held him up a little bit. He knew Ben Cousins, who is his direct opponent. I've got to say, Stengline's, it's a remarkable comeback from his point of view. He's really curbed Ben Cousins in the last 3 quarters.
Cousins just 10 touches since quarter time after 16 in the first. Williams to Peter Matera to centre half forward. Embley worked to the front. McGregor's been alongside him all day. It's been a marvellous body-on-body contest, that one. Embley somehow emerges with it again. Good second effort. Williams on his non-preferred foot goes inside 50 looking for Gardner. The fist came from Clark. Philip Matera at ground level. Tries to evade the tackle. Got a handball to Fletcher. He slips over. Embley in there again. Hart comes to shut him down. Embley handball back towards Matera. Johncock's got it right on the line.
Well done.
Somehow keeps it in. Well played by Graham Johncock. He's away now on centre wing. Has a couple of bounces. Draws a man to him. A handball over to Bassett. Back to Johncock. He runs to 70 metres out. Goes inside looking for Burton and finds him. Outstanding football from Graham Johncock.
It was like David Roden's run yesterday for Richmond, very similar, from deep in his defensive half, just a young player taking the game on. That is fantastic to see.
Here it is on replay. That ball is all but out. Oh, all but out. All but out.
Gee, that showed remarkable power there to get past Wirrapunda.
So here's Burton from the boundary line. Kick on its way. He likes it. Brett Burton, the human highlights reel.
I finished school. I'm doing a Bachelor of Arts. I really like challenging myself, and it's also good just to help out. So I thought, yeah, I'll try the Army Reserves. A weekend would be, you might do bush skills, and I just finished a course where we did forward driving, and we take these vehicles anywhere they can go. I never thought I'd be able to do that. I think it's probably made me more confident, and it's good fun.
What a comeback. 107 to 86. Wirrapunda off the ground. Clark, who's been very good, got it down to Stengline. Away they come again. Edwards breaks to the wing, kicks to half forward. Perry is the target, knocked away by Colliker. Well, he tried to. McLeod's got it, his 27th possession. Misses to the near side. A career high 6 goals for Burton has been the catalyst as the Crows are storming back at the Eagles. 16-11 West Coast, Adelaide 13-9. Mark Redding's on the boundary.
I'm not sure where they've come from, but the Adelaide Crows fans have come out of their seats at the moment. They're very excited about their side getting within 3 or 4 goals of the West Coast Eagles. They're making some noise.
McIntosh goes to defensive 50 again. Finds Jakovic. 7 inside 50s for Adelaide this quarter for 6 scoring shots. Jakovic over the top to Cousins. Possession 27 for him. He goes short and finds Cox to Fletcher. Thought about the handball to Williams. Pressured inside by Bassett. Now goes to Cousins. Cousins towards centre half forward. Gardner stands underneath it and takes it on his chest. Eagles players break for him now. Gardner wants to thump it long. Didn't quite hit it off the boot. Matera and Johncock go to ground. Matera got into Johncock's back and he'll take the free kick.
He plays the angles well, this boy. He's been one out with Phil Matera all match, and he's just gone straight at the footy irrespective of Phil Matera. Good play.
Matera pleads his case while Johncock plays on. Goes short to Nelson. Defensive 30 metres for Adelaide. The margin 20 points. Still got 12.5 minutes remaining. They trail by 40 at 3/4 time. McGregor to Goodwin. Handball inside to Hart. Adelaide with all the run at the moment. Ben Hart just looks up, not sure where to go. It's wide open. Goes looking for Perry, who worked hard. Couldn't quite get there. It's at ground level now. Perry flips it out to McLeod. McLeod to Gallagher. Gallagher runs to 25 and kicks another one. Here come the Crows.
A fantastic team goal, but it was brilliant play by Ben Hart. He received the ball on about the half-back flank, and instead of just bombing the ball as he was carrying forward, it was the kick there. Just missed Perry, but he just held on to it for a second to allow Perry to get into a dangerous position. What a pick-up from Perry, and just dish it off to McLeod. McLeod just remaining in the correct position to receive that ball. Gee, West Coast need a goal, don't they? They've been shell-shocked.
Plenty of time now for the Crows to win this one. James Gallagher celebrates. Big finish by Adelaide. Clark decisively to stem line. Kicks to half forward. McLeod lays it off. Nelson, who's a long kick, forced a hand pass. Goodwin with a run of it. Jakovic stood tall there, stood his ground. Long thumping kick down towards half forward. Bounces on its point out towards the boundary. Edwards does well initially. Kerr beat him. Down goes Kerr. Tackled strongly by Crowell. And the ball spills across the line and will be tossed in.
Gee, resolute from Jakovic. He had to stand up there. He had 3 or 4 Adelaide Crows running directly at him, trying to swoop on that loose footy. Didn't fumble. Was calling a crisis.
Adelaide 4 goals in 6 minutes from the 6-minute mark. That certainly is a run-on. Gallagher, Chambers dived in with courage. Is he hurt? No, I don't think so. Bore the brunt of that, though, as Gallagher was going over the top, intent on soccering it forward. Now, the situation at the ground is rather intriguing. This television picture you're seeing is on the giant scoreboard as well, showing the clock. I'm sure the AFL would be pleased with that. Over the top. Fisted forward towards half forward for the Crows. Bickley running out of space. Good tackle Chambers. Boundary throw in. At the moment the time not a factor. Just over 11 minutes. Well, it is a factor, and as much as West Coast are hanging on, it's the old rope-a-dope at the moment. Just being thumped by the Crows. Thrown in. Clark gently once more. McLeod somehow got out of there. 30 possessions for McLeod now. Hunter in trouble. Goodwin got him. Jakovic over the ball. Worked off the line of it initially. Goes again with strength. Gets a hand pass away to Banfield. Banfield gains about 15 metres and across the boundary. But one sense is this isn't enough to win it for the Eagles. They need to kick some goals at the other end.
Mark Rashudo just lurking at the 50. 3 Eagles spotted him all at once. There was arms going in all directions. And he's now been picked up. Clark at the tap down. Plenty of players around this one. Bickley plays Pilot on top. Will have a bounce. So 10.5 minutes remaining. The margin is 14 points. Amazingly, it was 40 points at half-time, 40 points at 3/4 time. Adelaide have kicked 5 goals to 1 in this final term. The natives are getting restless here at Subiaco. Clark against Cox. Clark at the tap down. There's McLeod again. Another all-important clearance. Handball to Hart. Hart will go inside 50, a dribbling kick. Djakovic keeps it in front of himself. Shins it outside 50 momentarily. Stenglein took on a couple of tacklers. Won himself a free kick advantage to Goodwin. And he's now pinged for holding the ball. Magnificent tackle. West Coast on the counter-attack. It's Hunter. Brings it wide towards Embley. A one-on-one contest with Crowell. Crowell tries to use body strength to get to the ball, and he does so. Matera steps around Nelson. Spears it inside 50 to Lynch. Drop that he should have possibly taken. Just outside 50. They pile in on top of it. And we will have a bounce. The tempo has lifted substantially.
Great tackle on Goodwin, wasn't it? I didn't quite sight who was. I think it might have been Fletcher, but great pressure goal. Great pressure tackle.
So right on the 50 for West Coast. Haven't kicked a goal since the 5-minute mark. We're now at the 17-minute mark. Opportunity for them. It goes deep inside attack. Matera bounces over the head of Lynch. Here's Kerr. Twists and turns. Gets the hands free. Matera loses his footing. Picks it up and kicks a goal.
Today's world needs the long life power of Duracell. Long life means more flashes. Long life means more to enjoy. And now Duracell and the Footy Show are giving you the chance to win 2 10-year long life memberships of your favourite footy club. Call the number on your screen now to register. Lines close midnight Monday and winners will be announced on Thursday's Footy Show. Duracell, the long life battery that lasts and lasts and lasts.
What a timely goal. Philip Matera gets his 4th. Equals his best performance against Adelaide. He got 4 round 8 of 1999. Under siege at the time there, the West Coast Eagles. Still not home. The margin back to 20 points, though. McLeod has been wonderful. He's outstripping Cousins, 31 possessions to 29. Here he is again, carrying all before him. Andrew McLeod out of the middle, thumping kick this time. Here comes Marsh in front, though the mark is held by Bassett. Great courage there by Bassett. He knew they were coming up behind. He's lining up here for what will be his 8th goal, is it? Ninth goal in
78 games of football.
78 games.
Gee, that's great technique from Bassett, though. He's just gone one-on-one with Colliker, used his body strength and just flown at the footy when it was a couple of metres away. Great technique.
Such an important kick. There's the technique there with the kick. It is. He kicks truly from 45. We're back to 14 points.
Yeah, and Andrew McLeod's brilliant. That centre clearance was unbelievable. I mean, 2 of the best in the competition. Here's McLeod here, but just look how deep this goes inside his forward 50. And he's kicked that from the middle of the ground, and that's about, what, 35 metres out from goal. Just a fantastic penetrating kick from McLeod.
Clearance is 9-5 in favour of Adelaide in this final term. Andrew McLeod with 9 possessions for the quarter. The next best on the ground is 5. That's Stenglein and Djakovic. So McLeod just taking on himself to step up to the plate and try to drag his side back into this game. They're well and truly in it now. Gardner got the tap on that occasion, and West Coast get the clearance to the ironic cheers of the crowd. There's Stenglein crashing through the Lynch tackle. Biglands has got it, thumps it on his boot, gets it outside the danger area. Rashudo tracks it to the line, will have a throw in. 14 points the margin, under 8.5 minutes remaining here at Subiaco. Another stoppage. Clark against Gardner. McLeod, the 3rd man up. Got it down to Nelson. Free hands again to Stenglein to Rashudo. He goes to half forward. Bassett's in front. Colliker worked him under, and Djakovic at the back takes it on his chest. He's been resolute this afternoon. 17 possessions, 6 marks. Glenn Djakovic. He hands it off to Banfield. McIntosh to the outer side. Takes it and goes. Runs away from Marsh. He's got Gardner in space. He takes the mark forward to the wing. Michael Gardner. Looks up. He's got men running in all directions. Adelaide trying to get back to fill the hole. West Coast trying to create something at half forward.
You've got Phil Matera and Daniel Kerr at full forward. I think that's the reason he doesn't want to bomb it.
Decides to go short to Chambers. His 19th possession coming up. Just forward to the centre circle. Faced with a similar dilemma. So he hands it off to McIntosh. Decides to take it and go. He'll thump it in. Big pack of players there. Hunter comes over the top. Couldn't bring it down. Miranda lurked with intent. Rashudo dives in on top of it. Locks it up. We'll have a bounce.
Looked like Wooden coming off, who's been McLeod's opponent. He's coming off, but the runner sent him back. They may be making a change. Someone else will be going to McLeod, I suggest.
Ruckman, lock up. Hunter made the most of it. Over the top, here's Cousins, hard against the boundary line. John Cock almost. Test of strength. John Cock almost. Test of strength. Taken across the line by John Cock. Well done. It's a dangerous situation. Now confronts the Eagles. As to how to contain the Pros bringing it out. The margin 15 points. Still ample time. Just under 7 minutes. Players now will be conscious of the clock, which they can see. The ball comes up towards the wing. Back goes Peter Matera, takes the mark. Matera, short. Miranda on the lead. He was standing the mark moments ago. Made the most of that. Goes to the pocket. Philip Matera. Did he take the mark? I think he did. If he did, that was a wonderful capture. Man coming back hard. They were playing for keeps. And Philip Matera has marked it centimetres in from the boundary.
He's trying to go up the boundary line to improve the angle, but I think the umpire's going to go across and suggest that you can't. Oh no, he's blood rule.
Blood rule. Well,
give it to a left footer. Phil, no, your brother. That's not a bad second choice.
Not bad.
Doesn't get the option.
No. Interesting call, isn't it? Because Philip Matera would be the man you'd like from there. Apart from, as you say, a left footer. Now, Mark Miranda has finished up with the football. Not the worst choice either. So they had some good men in that area. Philip Matera, after what was a very courageous mark, comes off. 15 points the difference. Miranda on the boundary line. A goal here would just about be enough, you would think. But so many similarities between this game and last Friday night's between Melbourne and Essendon. The side starting badly. They sort out their forward line, suddenly get back into the game. Miranda, so much riding on this kick, and he hits the post. Flush. He gave it a whack. Margin to 16 points.
So Adelaide the chance now to load up and go again. Hart will go himself, gains an extra 15 metres, thumps it long towards the centre. Clark bumped out of it by Gardner. Good body work. That allowed Hunter to take the mark uncontested. Adelaide players had pushed forward. They were going to break off that contest. But with the turnover now, they've got to flood back in numbers and find their men again. Banfield just forward of the wing. McLeod stands the mark. 15th touch for Drew Banfield. Thumps it inside 50. Cox is down there. In front of the contest was Cousins. Brought it to ground. Miranda couldn't keep it in. We'll have a throw in. 5.5 minutes remaining. The margin 16 points. It's Ben Cousins. 29 possessions, 2 goals. Cox and Biglands. Cox got the tap. Tapped it down to Cousins for possession number 30. Could it be the all-important one from 45 metres? He misses. 2 goals, 1 to Ben Cousins.
Been pretty good the last couple of minutes when Adelaide have been bringing the ball in. West Coast been very disciplined, punching the ball back into their forward 50.
Edwards plays on this time. Again, they go for Clark as the option. Gardner read it and tried to pick it off. Clark and Gardner on hands and knees. Gardner emerges with it. Got the handball to Kerr. Kept it alive for West Coast. Handball wide to Chambers. Just hung in midair forever. McLeod wraps him up. Here's Cousins. Twisting and turning. Tries to get around Gallagher. High kick inside 50. They'll fly from all directions. Ball at ground level. Miranda. Handball out. Open space for Chambers to just waltz in and go bang. Thumps it into the top deck of the stand for a goal. His third.
Well, they've just played hard, tough footy the last 5 minutes, West Coast. Adelaide have been throwing everything at them, trying to get numbers at the fall of the ball when that ball has been brought in by Ben Hart. And they've just pumped it in a couple of times, and it's been good forward pressure. And full credit to Adelaide as well, because they've had a real crack, but just weight of numbers in the end. And good for Chambers as well, because he has worked pretty hard, starting on the bench and developing into a very, very handy footballer. Still Matera returns to the ground.
the trouble when you're chasing 40 points down. No margin for error. It would seem now the Eagles are home. Clark goes up, thumps it down. Free kick going to the Crows. It'll come back to be taken by Clark. Centre square infringement. 122 plays 99. Clark kicks it long inside the forward line. Burton, up he goes. Well, did the hard work, couldn't hang on. Nelson, prosciutto, slips away, needs to pull it back. Good looking kick. Going back McIntosh. I doubt he got there in time. It's a goal. His third.
They're not laying down, are they? It's a great sign from Adelaide's point of view, but just winning ball in this second half across the half-forward line. Something was non-existent in that first half. Great attempt from Burton. And great hands from Nelson with Peter Matera basically on his back just to give Prosciutto an opportunity. Gee, he's kicked a couple of fantastic goals from outside 50. That on his non-preferred. Just a fantastic finish.
So there's Coach Gary Ayres. His counterpart, John Worsfold. Interesting situation now. The countdown clock no longer visible on the scoreboard. Gardner wins the tap. Here's Kurt. Runs away from the front edge of the square. Got time and space. Can go to 55. Loads up. Misses. Ooh, the pressure builds. The margin now 3 straight goals.
Should have gone to Cox.
Absolutely. So Daniel Kerr been busy this afternoon. 14 possessions, 1 goal, 2. Edwards thumps it long. Clark goes up again. He's been the target from the last few kick-ins, but West Coast again pick it off. Here's Matera. Can he drive home the nail? He goes for goal and puts it through.
Pretty smart play from West Coast in the end, because the last probably half a dozen times that Ben Hart's actually kicked the ball in, he's gone long, basically down the middle. So if you're half smart as a footballer, you understand that. And West Coast, it's good team play because they've got numbers around that contest. They've got that contest in the air, which Michael Gardner has been providing the last half dozen times. And Peter Matera, he just sucked out in open space. Good play because he receives the ball there. He's always going to finish off for the goal. Fletcher, he's the new man for McLeod. He's been on him for the last 5 minutes. So he's seen Wooden off McLeod, and now Fletcher is new opponent.
Amazing final term. We've seen 11 goals kicked, 7 of them by the Crows, but it won't be enough. Good one, Prosciutto, McLeod. He's been wonderful. Equaling the first term almost we saw from Cousins. Inside the 50, Jankovic angles the punch away. Doughty onto the loose ball, stops but lost it. Banfield went over the top of it. Kerr goes in, trying to wrestle it out of there. Doughty won't release it. But the clock continues to run. So a ball up about 35 metres out from the Crows' attacking goal. Down to 3:20 remaining in this one, and the margin 24 points. So much to like about the Crows late in this game, but early they really struggled. McLeod again. He's got the ball on a string. He's kicked a goal. Wonderful.
We'd hate to be given the Brownlow votes today because you wouldn't know where to go. Just an individual effort. He was workmanlike at best in the first half, McLeod. I reckon a couple of the superstars from Adelaide, Prosciutto, Goodwin and McLeod, have been given a bit of a rev at half-time because it's been a contrasting effort from those 3 boys. That's just an unbelievable finish. I mean, 34 possessions. Gee, it's going to be tough between he and Cousins as the best man on the ground today.
He had 11 possessions in the first half, McLeod. 12 in the third quarter, 11 in the final term. So he's had 23 touches since half-time. Here's Kerr. Free kick going Adelaide's way. Guess who? McLeod. 35th touch. Wants to move it quickly. Realises time is their enemy. Goes to Prosciutto, who's also lifted after half-time for his 26th possession. Goes inside 50. Burton's his target. Up he goes. Tried to take it on the chest. Ball at ground level. Jankovic spun out of trouble to Kerr. To Cousins. Breaks a tackle. Handball went looking for Matera. Now they've got problems because it's picked up by Doughty. He's 50 metres out. He goes for goal. Has it got the carry? It has. Goal to Doughty. Adelaide will not lie down. Doughty gets his second. And just when it looked to be maybe petering out, suddenly it's only 2 goals the difference again.
Just amazing. They've just kept going. McLeod, I mean, he was the one that got it to Prosciutto. Burton's continued to throw himself at the ball. Thought Jakovic did enough there, and Ben Cousins, just this one goes slightly astray from Peter Matera enough, but to be able to kick that from 50 metres off 3 steps, that's a fantastic skill, and gee, Dowdy showed a bit today too.
So the margin 12 points now, a tie, not out of the question. Just under 2.5 minutes to go. Important ball, this one. Down goes Jab. Peter Matera gets a hand pass away, a timely one. Gardner, man on towards the opposite side of the ground. That's ignored. He goes to Miranda, who can go to Lynch. Any score here will be very handy, particularly a goal. The big fellow has 5.
Just amazing. Look, Adelaide, they've thrown everything at them, and they realised, and that was, I think, the reason why they've just won the ball here, West Coast, and because Adelaide have run forward, it's pretty easy once you get the overlap to work a goal. All the same, it's a pretty good finish. I reckon there was a couple of other West Coast Eagles players. I think Callum Chambers was one that was drifting forward that perhaps could have been an option, but you know, Adelaide, they're just having a crack. They realised they had to win that ball. Unfortunately, Gardner got the ball in the middle for West Coast.
9 goals to 5 in the final term. Anyone remember the word flooding? Seems a long time ago now. Exhilarating football here at Subiaco. Clark to Goodwin to Bickley to McLeod again. And away they go, Adelaide. Inside 50, Colica got one hand to it. Here's Rashudo. Dodges, weaves, balks, handball to Goodwin. Goodwin goes to the top of the square. Numbers there for Adelaide. Chance for Burton at the back. Free kick paid. It's going West Coast's way. Bassett despairingly looks at the umpire.
McLeod up to 36 disposals with 10 clearances.
Colica to the run of Weirpunda. Comes away to the members' side. Jakovic is his target. Perry goes up in front. Spills to the back of that contest. Crowell spent it before he had control of it, and it goes to the line. So 1 minute and a quarter remaining. The margin is 3 goals. An amazing final term here at Subiaco. It's been an entertaining contest all afternoon, but it really has just stepped up another level. A real classic quarter, this final one. Goodwin got the tap down. Ben Cousins, Stengline with him as he's been for most of the afternoon. Matera gets it forward for Gardner. It won't stay in. He'll be out for a throw-in. 1 minute remaining on the clock.
This one is in the book then, but not without a degree of trouble for the home team. The best side will win this, but the team that's played the best football on the day is going to lose. We've seen in this final term some exhilarating stuff from the Crows, particularly out of the middle. Their system and their preparedness to work for each other is something I haven't seen this season. But too little, too late, as Nelson goes down and the clock is down to 44 seconds.
Ben, how do sides just click like that?
Look, I think they realised what they were doing, Adelaide, and they just weren't getting their hands on the footy. And the other thing, they just needed a contest in their forward half, particularly at centre half forward. Gary has addressed that, and as a consequence, they kicked, what, 14 goals in the second half.
Clark beaten by Gardner. Rashudo has been very good since half-time, going nowhere that time. The ball across the boundary line. 27 possessions for Mark Rashudo. Stengline, a wonderful job on Cousins. And you'd have to say McLeod really should pick up the top Brownlow votes, or you'd expect him to on his performance today. Thank you. There he goes. Runs inside the centre square. Probing kick. Perry comes on a lead. Jakovic, he's been very good. Got it on the ground. Thunders away. Dying seconds of the game. And the West Coast Eagles could be bound for the finals on the back of their home record. And a recent win against Carlton at Optus. If they can pick up one more and stay unbeaten at home. There's the siren. Troy Wilson has seen a fine performance in his position from Quinton Lynch, who booted 5, and that says it all. Some of the Crows are spent after what was, in the final quarter, a virtuoso performance. It started, and that's a great shot. Cousins just walked by. Cousins was blistering in the first term, and McLeod matched it in the final term. Let's go down to Mark Reddings.
Yes, with me is Ben Cousins, and I guess more relief than joy over that, Ben.
Yeah, listen, another tough game. We set the game up in the first half, and
full credit to the Crows. They came back really hard, and we're just happy to get away with the win.
After your great first quarter, Sting Line really was hard to shake.
Yeah, he's a good player. I've played him before, and yeah, it was just the way the way it went. He played well.
The home record continues, which is good for you.
Yeah, it's really important that we make it difficult for sides to come over and play against us.
By the way, happy birthday.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.